Hello and welcome to FPL Have a Beer, where I invite you to have a beer with me while I chat FPL. Please like to help get the video out there, and please subscribe to help me get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Thank you so much if you do this. So for today's live stream, they've both joined me. Been delighted to have their company for 2 live streams themselves, and I've been trying to get the 3 of us together for a couple of months now, and lads, we've made it happen. Welcome to the channel again. TriggerLips and Steve-O of Elite FPL. How you doing, lads?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you all right, both of you?
Thanks for having us, Gary.
All right. Yeah, so Trigger is in storms in New Zealand, and we're sunning it up here, aren't we, Steve-O? With 25 degrees in London today, 28 tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah,
so we're in a slightly different position in terms of our weather conditions. Okay, so what we're going to do today is usual for any regular viewers. We'll go through our teams, just have a chat about how the last game week went. We will have a look. I've prepared a special wildcard draft based on FPL reviews suggestions for your used to completely rip apart, no doubt. Then we'll talk about our transfer plans, and then we've got a few different things that we're going to touch upon in the second half towards the end of the stream, which I will not spoil for now. So we'll start with my team. So obviously, one thing we should say is obviously this game week isn't finished yet. It's Nottingham Forest versus Brentford on tomorrow night, is it, lads?
It is indeed, yeah. It is, and it's all reliant on me for hoping for a clean sheet, which won't be happening. I'll be putting 50p on Burmo to score, but
yeah,
I don't think that Nottingham Forest is going to keep a clean sheet at the end. From my point of view, it's going to be an absolute miracle, but it will also be huge for me moving up the ranks within the mini league. So
I mean,
they're on
a they're going to be on a big high now, aren't they? Oh, sorry, no, they went out. They're going to be on a big low, Nottingham Forest. You'd assume after the FA Cup defeat.
But they still have a lot to play for. I don't think that Nuno's going to allow his team just to fall off, even though they kind of have been falling off results. I think it's 3 losses in 4 for Nottingham Forest in total in all competitions, but they've still got a lot to play for. I think they deserve Champions League spot, personally, the way they've been performing this season. Yeah, so it is down to them, Aston Villa. It's really tight. Them, Aston Villa, Chelsea and Newcastle are all like within, I think, 5 points of one another. So it's really, really tight, Gary. And I think that, like I said, I'm thinking it's going to be a draw tomorrow, 1-1, personally.
Trig?
I just hope those Mbuemo and Wood blank, but other than that, I don't really care. But I want Forest to lose because Chelsea are in prime spot. Yeah.
When I did,
got horrible fixtures. Chelsea are going to stuff it up.
When I did a live stream by myself on Saturday, and we were looking at the ownership, they're the only 2 that can really hurt if you don't have them in it. I think Mbuemo's on 40-50%, and Wood's on about 30%. So I think you're right. As non-owners, as long as they're kept quiet, we should be all right, shouldn't we?
People were complaining because I wasn't happy with my score. I think I got 88 or something. But I've got nobody left. And if they go off tomorrow, it's going to make a huge difference. Huge difference.
Okay.
I've got to congratulate Steve-O before we start, because his chip strategy was superb, and he got a lot of stick for it. He was getting a lot of criticism from people,
particularly on my channel, from my channel.
Yeah, but it was a good strategy, and it's paid off. But then all the people go quiet, and but it's got to be said. He done well.
I had a completely off topic, but it's not off topic. As a state, I get quite a lot of any video that I do. I get some form of attack on me or the channel, and someone wrote something which is public. It's nothing too serious, but I looked at it and I thought, but if you weren't doing well in the thing that you're talking about, you wouldn't care. But because I'm not talking about it and you're using the fact that I'm not doing well in that particular thing, you're having a go at me for not talking about it. You just can't win in the world of YouTube. And it was Mira in your conversation, Gary, that's available for members only at the moment, where she talks about how there are people out there that care more about your team than you care about your own team. And I always think to myself, what is the psychology? Genuinely, Gary, what is the psychology as a psychologist behind someone caring about your team more than me, for argument's sake?
Well, I think, as I discussed, we sort of touched upon in that interview with Mira, which will be out next week for people who aren't channel members.
I thought it was already out because I've seen
it. I put a clip out. The clip's only about 5 minutes. Nick, the interview. The interview's 3 hours. It's the longest one. It's even longer than the one with Steve.
Jesus.
But yeah, I think it's because they're trying to justify things to themselves. You know, I've got this player. I think this. Thus, you should. Do you know what I mean? It's just they don't really care about who's in your team. You know what I mean? Why would they? I mean, maybe some people do, but I think most people, it's just trying to impose their thought process on you because they must be right. And if they're very dogmatic. Sorry, go on.
I think they want to see you fail. That's what it is. There's certain people enjoy watching other people fail. And you see it all the time in FPL. You know, I think that's what it is, isn't it? They're just like attacking you.
I suppose it kind of links into what you were just saying about people having a go at me about my chip strategy. Like me and Gary actually had a adult conversation 1-to-1. I think it was even in person when we met. We had the conversation, and then obviously a couple of streams we've had the conversation, and you know you've accepted the chip strategy, whether you care, whether it should matter to you or not. It doesn't really matter. But it's the people in the online world, the profiles that come at you and go, "You shouldn't be doing this. Why are you listening to Ray for? He doesn't play FPL." I'm just thinking, what the fuck does it matter? Just enjoy the content I'm giving you. If you don't like, it's like why I love Nick's content, because I'm just listening to a bloke chatting passionately about his team, his strategy. Whatever I get out of it is for me only. I'm not going to think, oh, Nick, you're wrong there. If anything, I like to have a laugh at Nick's expense, like your bench boost, Nick, where it completely failed. I had a right laugh about that. Brilliant.
Did anyone's bench boost work?
You.
Did anyone's bench boost work? That was like...
Yeah, some people's did. Not very many, though, did they? A few people got over 20.
Yeah.
I will say, Steve, I do think your clip strategy's not gone terribly, but I don't... Do you reckon it's gone better than my strategy? I think if the bench boost had gone well, you might have been looking a bit different.
Well... Look, we can't account for the actual outcomes that happen within FPL, obviously. No. But right now, I've equaled whatever anybody's done with their chip strategy. So whatever you've done with your chip strategy, I've got the same points, if not a tiny bit better.
And you've still got the bench boost.
And the other advantage with Steve-O's strategy is he's got the players in that are more useful now until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Whereas we've all got our old teams back, and now they're not looking so good, are they? I don't know if they've announced the doubles yet or not, but
apparently the likelihood Ben Crellin is saying is 37. 37 for Man City and Wolves.
There was something about FPL Nightmare sent me something that Harry had sent out earlier. We can look into it a bit if you want. Let's get into the teams, lads. So I'm a bit peeved off that Nick's saying he's annoyed with he's got 88 points and he's got no one left. I'm on 84 points and got no one left. But I was feeling quite happy about this, I have to say. So for the audio listeners, I'll read out my team. Allison, obviously I was on 3 here. I think all 3 of us were, weren't we?
Yeah.
No.
Steve-O wasn't.
Steve-O wasn't, of course, yeah. But I think most people were. So Allison with 2, 8 and Yuri with 11, Livramento with 6, Trippier, I think's my star player, with 15, Palmer, I don't know why I went for him, with 3.
Why? Or anybody. Idiots.
Clivert with 2, Luis Diaz with 7, Salah with 16, Jimenez with 1, Isaac with 6, and Cunha with 15. And I mean, I said on Saturday I wish I could have bench boosted this. Sanchez 9, Cucurella 6, and the Wolves defender, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, 6, but I couldn't have done, could I? Because I'm on 3 hits, so that's sort of... But yeah, I mean, I was relatively happy with this, but hearing Trig say that he scored 4 points more...
I'll ask you, Gary.
Yeah.
So, with hindsight, you said, I don't know why I went with Palmer. Who would you have gone for instead? Genuinely, who was the toss-up between Palmer and...
It would have been... In Burma would have started, basically. I mean, that's your answer,
okay.
in it, because he was on my bench. I don't know. Semedo, I think, maybe I looked at briefly.
But you've got Kluivert.
Yeah, I've got Kluivert, yeah. But I'm fairly happy with that. So I've gone up. When I started this channel 6 months ago, I was 5 million in the world. I have finished 3k and 12k the last 2 seasons, but my goal is always top 100k, and I'm at 180,000 now, which is my best rank of the season. I'm 30 points off the 100k. I've got a chance. To get in there. You know what I mean? I don't think I will, but it gives me something to play for between now and the end of the season, anyway.
Trouble is, the week hasn't finished yet, has it? That's why I don't like my score much.
No, but as you said, I think as long as they keep. Who am I thinking of? And Burmo and Wood down.
Well, and Burmo, Visser, and Wood are the 3 main. Well, I say Wood. I don't think many went with Wood.
Woods
and Burmo, absolutely. Visser, a bit like Wood here or there.
Yeah, not many for Visser.
No,
he won't hurt too much.
Let's not mess about here. Worst case scenario, and Burmo scores a goal. What's that? 5. Add the 2 appearance points. 6, 7. Add a bonus point. That's 8.
Not the worst case scenario.
Well, no. But realistically, like 8 points. Then you got Visser. Let's say he scores 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. Wood, if he scores again, similar 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, whatever it works out to be. Who the hell has got all 3 of them in their team? I'd argue barely anybody. Who's got a double up of those 3 player combinations? I'd argue not many. So it's down to that one individual player who people have got. So it's going to be the likes of your rivals who've got Burmo or who've got Visser. There's going to be the odd exception, obviously, that's got a double up of one of those 3 players. But I think overall, especially in your area, Nick and Gary, I think you'll be okay. Yeah,
when I looked at the ownerships, Visser was at about 10%, Wood was about 25%, and Burmo was somewhere towards 50%. So he's...
Okay. Yeah, he's the worry, isn't he?
He's the worry, yeah. Just say hello to a couple of people in the chat. Hi, Colm. Hi, Sparta. Hi, Andrew. I've noted down, we've already said we're going to talk about your video later on, so you can listen it back. Have fun at...
Is that FPL Sparta's here?
Sparta,
my rival in the Patreon League. Good Lord, welcome.
Sparta
was John.
Sparta was the one I have to say is a massive part of this channel, because if he hadn't commented on one of my videos that FPL Juice wanted me to come on, I may have stopped making videos after like 5. So he's...
Yeah, that's right. I think he commented in the Patreon about your channel, actually, and told me to check it out. And I did. So, actually, yeah. So well done, John. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. And Cone says, watch out for White Goodman Nightmare. I don't know what that means. Okay, cool. Let's have a look at Trig's team. Here we go. Zoom in a bit. So, I'll read it out. Leno on 2. Aït-Nouri on 11. Trippier on 15. Cucurella on 6. Jacob Murphy on 6. Palmer, you went Palmer as well. On 3.
Palmer.
The other thing is he's in the bloody review suggested wildcard as well, but we'll come on to that later. Salah on 16. Luis Diaz on 7. Jimenez on 1, Isaac on 6, Cunha on 15. I mean, our teams are identical pretty much, apart from 3 players, I think. But that's natural on Nick. So you weren't happy about this then, Nick?
No, I wasn't happy because I was going to go 3-5-2.
Okay.
I don't know why I put Real back in. I was going to put Mabuemo in instead of Real.
He was playing
And
Southampton, wasn't he?
I also played the wrong keeper. You look at my bench compared to your bench. I got about 30 points on mine, and already. Yeah. And I played the wrong keeper. And the reason I was angry with myself because I didn't play Sessegnon, so I thought because I'm not playing a Fulham defender, it made sense to play a Fulham goalkeeper instead to cover him.
Mm.
And that completely failed. And it meant I didn't have Sarr. I should have just gone with my gut and put Sarr in goal, or even just played Sessegnon because I only wanted I went fancy with Cucurella instead. I mean, it hasn't made a huge amount of difference.
Who did Wolves have?
Eh?
Who did Wolves play? Oh, Leicester, weren't it? Was it Leicester?
Leicester, yeah.
Yeah. I guess you could have argued for playing Leno or Jose Sarr.
In a vacuum, you'd say Sarr had the best chance of that. But I just, you can't legislate for a penalty save, can you? Really?
No.
And another day he's on 2 points, isn't he? That prick Vardy had gone and scored it.
Did you see?
So a lot of it's random, and we come on and analyse it afterwards, like we've made mistakes, but we really haven't. It's just random kicks at the ball, isn't it? It's like us going on about Palmer. If he'd scored, we wouldn't be having.
I love how you've added to the graphic "useless prick" and an arrow pointing to him, as if people can't see that. You can't. Did you see? Let's talk FPL Andy. I think he switched at the last minute. I can't remember who, but he switched the defender. I think it was Pope and someone out and brought in Trippier and Jose Sarr, and I think it was like a 24-point swing.
Yeah, exactly. All on a whim, isn't it? Like a split decision. And because all the picks, you look at the benches, we've all got great. So we all did really well picking all the right players, didn't we? It's just like in what combination you've got them in, really, and that just comes down to luck, doesn't it?
So where are you in the world now, Trig?
60k until tomorrow night, and I'll be back up to 100 probably.
And where are you? You always want to finish. I'm happy with top 100k, but you prefer like 50 top 10k still, don't you? Your target?
Well, top one, but I'm not getting that. But I've settled for top 50 this season now. With only 4 weeks left. I've still got my assistant manager chip. So.
We'll get onto that in a bit.
That's more a curse than a blessing, I mean.
Okay, so let's have a look at Steve-O's team. Steve-O, one of the few people in the world not on free hit. Do you want to read it out? Can you read it, Steve-O? Do you want me to?
Oh, you can read that.
Yep. Okay, so Areola with free. I always think I'm going to say something else when I try and say his name. Mikalenkovic, who's yet to play. And
Milenkovic, come on.
And Murillo. At home to Brentford. Both yet to play. Trippier 15, 8 and Nuri 11. Palmer with 3. Jacob Murphy with 6. You've really had bad luck with Palmer this year, haven't you, Steve? Salah with 16. Semedo came through for you with a 9. And then Cunha 15. Isaacs 6. So you must have been pretty happy with this, I guess, considering...
Yeah, overjoyed. I think it's the classic thing of me being able to stick my middle finger up on certain trolls, shall we say. I think me and Ray, I know you had a laugh about it on the stream, but, me and Ray have been working together a lot. And the strategy that we came up with, 3-4 weeks ago.
Me and Ray.
Yeah, you got it in one. But we've been working together all year, and just nothing has paid off whatsoever. It's just the last few game weeks where finally some genuine luck has come through. I stated on various preview videos and whatnot that if I was doing a free hit team, I'd probably be going Livramento over Trippier personally. I've always said all the time that I'd be going 8 Nuri. I'd probably go Sessegnon as well. So they're the 3 I probably would have gone with. Goalkeeper, from a free hit point of view, it's a toss of a coin, but I wouldn't have gone anywhere near Sarr. I think anybody that did go with Sarr, genuinely an amazing pick.
I didn't even look at him.
No, this is the point. You can't account for a penalty save. If anything, I think
he was an injury doubt, wasn't he?
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. So the fact that people went with him, well done. You got massive luck in that specific case, because the point swing. I mean, when does Vardy miss penalties? It's very. I'm assuming that was probably his first penalty miss in God knows how many games, and so for that to happen, the point swing for a lot of people that had Wolves assets is huge. The likes of who else was on the free hit that if I was to do it would have been there. We're looking at obviously Salah. I would have been a double up of Diaz as well. They came through. I mentioned on the videos about going with if you really wanted to go with it with Bournemouth, so preferably an attacker. So it would either be Kluivert or Semenyo. I would have guaranteed I would have gone with Kluivert just to follow that template. Type of team. And then up front, I always did say I wouldn't have gone with 3. It would have been the 2, Cunha and Isaac. If I wanted to go 3, it would have been Strand Larsen. I would have attacked the Southampton game. Not Southampton, but the Leicester game.
You plugged him in your preview, didn't you? I think so.
I made the point.
Didn't I?
Yeah, I made the point that if you're going to go for real differentials and the combinations, it's either double Wolves attack or double Wolves defence. Completely up to whatever your strategy is. This is the point we're at the time of the season now where we really want to maximise the differentials. Like, I know we're going to get into our teams in a minute, what we're doing next, but I'm not going to be going with the popular captaincy pick this week. I'm going to go differential, and I'm very happy. Me and Ray are both very happy with the pick that we're going to go with. Palmer we had in the team anyway. I'm not going to get rid of Palmer for Diaz when they've both got a game anyway, so that's his transfer saved. Jacob Murphy, Salah explained themselves. Big gutted about Salah not coming through with, but that's from a Jason rivalry point of view. Personally, the fact that he didn't get more points, including Firetog as well. Firetog and Jason both captained Isaac, so I'm a bit gutted that Salah only came through with a couple of extra points on top.
We all got our predictions right, didn't we? Because me and Trig predicted a bit of a rout there if they got an early goal, and I know you did as well, didn't you, Steve-O? Liverpool.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, although ironically it was Tottenham that got the early goal.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But they responded very, very quickly. Semenyo, we've had Semenyo for weeks and weeks and weeks since the Wildcard, I believe it was, and we've been looking at moving forward with Semenyo. Just keep him in the team. He doesn't need to be playing, but as long as he's there when he's got a decent fixture.
I think with Evan Nielsen back, Semenyo's actually a better pick than Kluivert now, because it was always Semenyo earlier in the season, wasn't it?
Yes.
And then Evan Nielsen got injured, and suddenly Kluivert was getting all the points. But now maybe it's swung back again now.
Well, Evan Nielsen's out now, isn't he? I don't know how long.
No, it's been rescinded.
Yeah, they rescinded it earlier today. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk FPL. Andy was saying in his video earlier. Apparently, a lot of people are asking if they'd get their points back, for the sending off. But he said, they probably won't, because once it's
that won't be happening. No,
it's a red card, but then it's an appeal, so it's not a part of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then of course,
sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, finish off with a team. It's Cunha and Isaac. It's just self-explanatory. So yeah, I'm overjoyed. And tomorrow evening with Milenkovic and Murillo. If that comes through with a clean sheet, Gary and Nick, that is going to be astronomical for someone like me.
Great differentials. I don't mind if they do. I'd settle for a 0-0 because, like I said, they're differentials. Not many people have got Forest defenders, have they?
No. Just say hello to a couple of people in the chat. Hi, Brian. Hi, Ricky. Adam is saying, I'm not sure who he's. Well, I guess this applies to all of us. How do you plan on getting Haaland back? I think I don't, probably. Lads?
Well, until he's fit. I mean,
it's too late. I mean,
it's only 4 games
even
left.
Even if he comes back, he doesn't have time to play himself into form or.
Exactly. If he's fit against who they got this weekend, Wolves, he's not going to start, is he?
He won't.
What was the news?
Have
isn't
a
it?
double.
I don't know. I think there's a chance he might be fit for the weekend, but he's going to take a couple of games to come back. He'll probably miss. I think it's Southampton game. Well, we can have a look. We'll have a look at. I say this every live stream. Ben Krellin's amazing table. Actually, let's have a look at. Have a look.
He's in full training. He's in full training now.
Is he? So this came out earlier I haven't even looked at it, but who sent this to me? Andrew, let's FBL Nightmare sent this to me earlier.
Cut all his hair off.
Really, really surprised. There was something earlier. I'm just going to read what he says. Before people replied to this tweet, I asked, and they said this is where they saw it. Right at the bottom of the article, it says, however, if it is rescheduled, I think this is the Bournemouth game, due to the FA Cup final taking place on the Saturday the 17th of May. An official date for the rescheduled fixture is yet to be announced, but the clash against Bournemouth is now likely to take place after the FA Cup final, which I think would make it game week 37, wouldn't it? With the Premier League unlikely to schedule any games for beyond the traditional final game, which occurs on Sunday the 25th. It doesn't seem to me like there's any in the know or reliable original origin to me. That was apparently that came out. You guys know I don't go on Twitter that much, but apparently there was some fuss about that today.
So that's just the Bournemouth game, is it? Not all the games.
I think so. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all these different tweets, but.
What do you think of the Tottenham Villa situation? Like Villa have strongly opposed Tottenham's request, haven't they, to move the fixture to game week 36?
I heard someone suggesting that was an absolutely stupid thing because it's going to mess Aston Villa up somehow or top them up somehow, but I can't remember what the thing is. What do you reckon, Steve?
It's just sour grapes, isn't it? Because they had to play PSG. On a short turnaround, whereas PSG were given the weekend off. I think it would be good if they gave Premier teams more time for Europe, if they get to the quarterfinals or semi-finals or whatever. Because they're at a bit of a disadvantage compared with the opposition, aren't they? But Villa are just because Villa couldn't do it, they're kind of putting a spoiler in the works.
So, I mean, I don't know how much we can read in. I mean, it's worth getting this up just because I know that a few people have still got the wildcard left, which is why I've put together a wildcard draft. I mean, in theory, I suppose, even if we ignore the double game weeks, would you guys agree with this? Aston Villa, Man City still have very good fixtures anyway. Not Arsenal, maybe. Crystal Palace.
Need to update it, look. You've still got 33 and 34 on there.
This is the latest one that I could find on his his timeline.
Oh, is this Ben Crellin's again?
Yeah, Ben Crellin, yeah. So I don't know how much we can read into these odds, but all right, are you ready, guys? That's I am prepared. So I'm gonna preface this by saying this is not my wild card. This is the Magical Tool FPL Review suggested wildcard based on what money I have in the bank, which I think is about 103 million. So, here we go. I don't know if you watched the last one, Steve-O. Or was it the last one I did? No, it was the one I did with Yelena where Trigger actually rated reviews free hit. Was it free hit draft more over and above? Let's talk FPL Andy's. You basically loved it, didn't you, Trigger? You shocked me.
Andy got 100 points though, didn't he? So he changed his. I think he changed his after that show, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. So I'll read it out, and then you two can rip it apart. Pickford in goal, Garvadio, Milenkovic, Rubin. I've picked the team here, and O'Brien of Everton at the back, Bowen in Burmo and Salah in midfield, Visser, Vardy and Mamouche up front, and then Martinez, Palmer, Milenkovic, is that what I say it, Steve? And Cliver on the bench. So, what do you guys think?
Well, immediately I'm looking at Jamie Vardy.
They've got some very good fixtures, haven't they?
It's Leicester.
Yeah.
They use the argument of, well, poor fixtures can turn you into good form. Fair point, but Leicester are an absolute shambles at the moment. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that there's a differential, and with the money that you have, it's a perfectly fine option. Obviously, he's not going to be playing every single week. It'll be Palmer coming in, I'm guessing, along with Cliver and whatnot. But triple Everton defence, incredible. And obviously the double Man City defence as well. I don't know what it sees in Man City defence.
So just looking at they've got Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, Newcastle. So I'm guessing the idea is you play them against Ipswich and Southampton.
Of course, yes. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
And then, with double Man City defence, I'm assuming it's because it wants to triple up. But it's not really wanting to go with a midfielder because there's no one reliable in midfield whatsoever. So it's just a case of, let's just go with a safety option in Vardy and Diaz. But defensively, they always seem to be susceptible to conceding chances. But, I expect Wolves to score against them. Don't get me wrong, the odds of Man City beating Wolves are going to be very, very high. But if Wolves were to get a result there, Gary, even TriggerLips, you could be wise to hit that assistant manager chip and maybe, I know you won't, but put it on Pereira to maybe get a draw. Because the form Wolves are in at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me if they were to get something against.
I'm thinking of leaving it till 36 because I was going to put it on Man City, but I'm worried about that Wolves game, to be honest. I wouldn't put it on Wolves, but I'm not sure I want to put it on City either.
Why?
I think Wolves are pretty good at the moment. They're conceding less goals than anybody else.
They were full. So what do you think of that wildcard draft, Nick? I'll ask you a genuine opinion.
I think it's great. I wish I had that. Too.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's great for wildcard. I would not buy Vardy. I went on FPL review as well, and it wanted me to buy Vardy, and I switched the thing off. And it wanted me to use my assistant manager chip on Tottenham. And I thought, what's this thing doing? You know what I mean?
So Leicester have got Southampton obviously this week, Nottingham Forest, Ipswich, Bournemouth. So there's two good games in there, but
I think it's a great wild card because you can just stick Vardy on the bench after the Southampton game, and then play him for Ipswich as well.
you've got Steo in there.
Wild carding it. Great.
Do you reckon Mamouche might lose his place if Haaland is back in 2 game weeks' time?
Yeah, he could do.
Yeah,
that was actually pulling up trees, and I will just correct myself as normal. I've been proven wrong. Just been on WhoScored.com, and Man City have kept a lot of clean sheets in the last 7. I think it's like 4 or 5 in the last 7 clean sheets.
Yeah, they've been doing well since they put Guardiola at centre back, haven't they? And got O'Reilly in.
It wouldn't even surprise me though if Ruben Diaz was, rotated for 1 or 2 of the games between now and the end of the season.
Interesting, it hasn't gone for De Bruyne rather than Palmer. That's
the point. Yeah,
I'd be tempted to get De Bruyne instead of Palmer and get rid of one of those Man City defenders.
Yeah,
maybe go with Saliba or somebody because Arsenal is still going to be decent. I think
I'm going to make myself try and sound intelligent here, lads. Do you know they say? Obviously everyone keeps going with Palmer, based on last season's form. But do you know that saying? The sign of madness is when you keep doing things that don't work out. You just keep doing them, and I think that's probably the case with Palmer. I just, it just seems. I'm annoyed at myself for picking him in the free hit team, but so what if you were wildcarding? What would you? Is there any of these players you definitely would have, definitely wouldn't have? I'm not sure about double Everton defence, for example. I don't think I would have O'Brien.
I'd definitely have De Bruyne instead of Palmer.
Yeah.
Chelsea have got awful fixtures. I don't understand why it's even picked Palmer with the fixtures that they've got. What games are they playing him in?
Well, I put him on the bench versus Liverpool because I didn't think I could really bench. I wouldn't play him over any of those 3 forwards and 3 midfielders, would you?
No, not. I'd even play Vardy, I think, ahead of him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, all right, let's go on and have a look at our own teams. So, and our transfer plans. Let's have a look at Triggers first. So, Trig, do you want me to read it out, mate?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so he's currently got Martinez in goal at home to Fulham, Kivior and Saliba at home to Bournemouth. Now, of course, one thing with them is people talking about mass rotations ahead of the Champions League second round, but we'll talk about that maybe in a minute. Gavardia at home to Wolves, Silvinho with a question mark on him and at home to Wolves, Saka with a question mark on him. I guess that's because you're thinking about getting rid of them. At home to Bournemouth, Rodgers at home to Fulham, Salah away to Chelsea, who's currently got your vice captain, Isaac away to Brighton, Mateta at home to Nottingham Forest, and then Mamouche, who is currently your captain, at home to Wolves. So what are you thinking for this week, Nick?
Well, put the bench up as well, so people.
Oh
can
yes,
see.
sorry, yeah. So bench, you've got Henderson, Sarr, Livramento, and Wan-Bissaka.
Yes, I've got a lot to think about. Basically, if I find out Savinio's starting, I'll probably just do Saka to Mbeumo.
Yep.
And possibly active, because I need to create money to use my assistant manager chip.
Okay.
Which I may or may not use, depending on the doubles that we might not get. So, but if Savinio's not starting, then I'll be taking out Saka for Mbeumo still, and taking out Savinio for Bowen or somebody like that, probably. And then I've got to decide whether I play Sarr or not, which is a tricky one. So I do make those transfers, and I have to decide if I want to play Sarr or not.
I mean, isn't Sarr more likely to start than Silvinho? I mean,
I could keep Silvinho and just bench him if I find out that if I don't hear anything at all.
Are they the early kickoff?
Yeah, on a Friday. It's a Friday.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, 8, yeah.
Which is good for me because that's like I'm awake for that one.
But when's the last time? Because I don't really watch live streams, and Steve-O's taken the piss out of me a bit recently because I've been actually watching them mainly because I was on Wildcard and free hit and stuff. And my team has not changed because there's been no leaks. I mean, I can't remember. Do you remember the last time we got a leak? If anyone in the chat could remember, let us know.
Last few weeks there haven't been any, which has been great, isn't it? The Man City person hasn't even been giving leaks out.
Well, it would be the time that I bloody get up and watch deadlines too. They don't have any leaks. You know, they could have given me some.
Well, it certainly makes the game a bit more competitive and a bit more enjoyable, not having, I don't know, like Nick was talking the other week about if we hear Kevin De Bruyne is starting, a lot of people may bring him in for this Wolves.
Yeah, exactly. Just on the fact that they've heard and they see streamers all bring him in, so they all copy. And then all the people around the world in bed miss out, don't they? And often it backfires, though, doesn't it? They all change a transfer and then they blank.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
I think people will be captaining De Bruyne, won't they? If here he's starting, they'll all put him in captain him.
I think there's better fixtures this particular game. You mentioned Bowen and Mbeumo. You're bringing in two excellent assets against two really poor teams at the moment. And West Ham have got something to prove, I think, against Tottenham. Not just against Tottenham, but just in general. And
Tottenham are going to be very tired, aren't they? They're going to be
indeed, yeah. So will Man United, and Brentford will want to.
But they would be tired as well, though, Brentford, wouldn't they?
Why is that? Man United will be tired.
They've got Thursday
tomorrow night. Yeah, Brentford.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Fair point.
That's what's slightly putting me off. Like, people are talking about captaining Mbeumo, but that's kind of putting me off him this week.
I think this is the kind of game that Mbeumo performs to put himself in the market for the likes of Man United, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, why you'd want to go there, but...
I mean, people were saying... I was predicting him to thrash Man United at the last weekend, and they only got
and I said it would be low scoring, didn't I?
You did, Trig, you did, yeah. I mean, it was 1-1, so that would dampen me wanting to captain someone against United. I mean, just in terms of a big score, not of having them in my team, but of captaining them.
Because Brentford have nothing to play for, and the team as a whole is going to be a bit more tired than usual, aren't they? So
yeah.
Well, it depends what the team Man United put out. Could be a bunch of kids again.
Yeah, true. It could be, couldn't it?
And like I state, Brentford, or as you state a lot of the times, they're on the beach at the moment. They can just do whatever they want, just have a bit of fun. They've got nothing to play for, really. And that's why tomorrow's game is so dangerous, because they could just not give a damn about what the scoreline is and just have a go, and Nottingham Forest take advantage of it and go and do what they did to Brighton. Or it could be the complete opposite, where we've got not a care in the world. We're just going to absolutely bombard Nottingham Forest and come away with some random 4-2 victory. I don't know, but it'd be the same for this game against Man United. I think potentially Thomas Frank, who himself is in a way putting himself on the market, I think he's probably taken Brentford as far as he can. I don't know what the next step up could be for Thomas Frank, but I think that certainly the Chelsea job, if it was available, or even the Tottenham job, I think he could genuinely do really well for these particular clubs. And I think this is the kind of game where if Brentford were to, come out and win score 3 or 4 goals against Man United, there are players in that team like Mbermo, Visser, etc. They are, getting on in age. It's kind of putting themselves in the market for next season.
Just say thank you everyone watching. We're up to 33 current watchers, which is the most I think I've had in one of these live streams so far. Please do subscribe and like the video if you're enjoying it. Also, Yelena has just commented, this is the dream lineup. Glad I managed to catch you guys live. We'll catch up on what I missed after. Thank you, Yelena. I hope what you were doing today went well. I'll maybe tell you guys what that was after the stream. I hope it went well.
Tell us during the stream.
No, I'm not. Just in case, it's nothing serious, but just in case she doesn't want me to. Okay, let's have a look at Steve-O's team.
Hang on, regarding my team, because I haven't quite finished. I think everybody's making transfers, but we've only got 4 transfers left, haven't we, for the entire season? Apart from Steve-O, who's got an extra one, which is quite good for him. But
you got 2 transfers, Steve-O?
4 left.
Yes, I'll have 3 by week 37. I
mean, yeah, that's the other.
We've only got 4 to use now, haven't we?
Yeah,
3 or 4 to use.
I mean, this part
is it worth rushing into one this week when there's not really any great fixtures, are there?
And we could have 36 announcement, in which case you'd love to have 2 transfers, wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly. And for me personally, I have to make transfers from a blooming assistant manager chip as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why the chip's so crap.
I should have used it when everyone else did, I think. Going to end up rubbish, especially if there's no double game weeks. I thought there'd be table bonus games at the end of the season, but there's none that look very tempting.
So you're likely, probably, if you make one, it's probably going to be Saka to Mbermo, but you may save it. Nick, is that about a decent summary?
Yeah, that's about it. I could just bench, if I find out Savinho's starting, I could just bench Saka and play Sarr, couldn't I?
I can't see Saka starting. Ray thinks that they're going to put out. Ray thinks they're going to put out like they did against whoever it was a few weeks back, Brentford. Funny enough, and they made 5 or 6 changes. I just don't think why risk Saka for a game against Bournemouth. I think playing Sarr at home to Nottingham Forest is a great shout. Really,
he played the full match as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he was rubbish yesterday as well, and he still didn't get taken off.
Well, he's one of their best assets, isn't he?
Sorry, mate. Hi to FPL Zyko, and Shane is saying hello to you, Steve-O. Okay, Steve-O, should we move on to your team?
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Do you want me to read it out, mate, or do you want to?
Yeah, go for it. It's your show.
I'm doing all the legwork here, guys. Henderson in goal against Forest. Milenkovic away to Crystal Palace. Trippier away to Brighton. Garvadio at home to Wolves. Eze at home to Nottingham Forest. Steve, I've got to say this. I remember, didn't you say the other day your Nick impression of saying Palmer?
Palmer, yeah.
Palmer. If I talk for a New Zealand accent, that's probably do now. I don't know.
Murphy away to Brighton. Salah captain against Chelsea. Marmoush vice captain home to Wolves. Cunha away to Man City. Isaac at home to Brighton. And then Areola, Semedo, Aiton Yuri, and Morello on the bench. What do you think?
Yeah, it's simple. Me and Ray are going to be doing almost, depending on what happens tomorrow, and Burmo in for Palmer, captain and Burmo. We've kind of said to ourselves, do you know what? It's a lovely, lovely differential. And for our rank at the moment, I think that it's worth the risk. We've got the players that most people own. I can't see Salah really going off against Chelsea.
So Steve-O, did you say Burmo in for Palmer is a differential?
No, captain is differential.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. So I can't see Salah going off against Chelsea. I don't see Marmoush going off against Wolves personally. Andrew, funny enough, talked about Isaac away at Brighton. That could be. I'll need to speak to Ray about that. Isaac could be like a safety option. Brighton at the moment, they could not give a shit. They really are just in games of goals. I think, in fact, they're in games where they always seem to be conceding two. And Andrew made the point. Isaac could have had a hat-trick at the weekend. So Isaac could be a nice difference from the popular picks, which I'm assuming is going to be Marmoush is number one in Fantasy Football Scout poll. Maybe it could be Salah, but I think Marmoush could be number one. Then it'd be Salah, and then it's whoever underneath it. But certainly Palmer for me is gone. Absolute useless prick, as TriggerLips would say. And
Palmer, that useless prick.
I'm just.
He's turned. Nick's turned Irish all of a sudden. I don't know why.
It wouldn't. I mean, it's like Nick always says. It's going to be typical FPL that either we don't own Palmer or we've sold Palmer and he'll go and get a double-digit haul. I don't really see it myself. I would happily stick with it. To be fair, I would happily stick with this team. But me and Ray are so sick to death of just seeing Palmer every single week, either 1 point, 2 points or 3 points. This is the time now. Do it now or you never. You just keep him in.
As I said, the definition of insanity.
Yeah, no, that's precisely it. And usually, last season, Palmer's home record, it was always a guaranteed minimum of 10 points, like a double-digit return. This season, it's next to nothing, basically. It is pathetic. And like you said, it's since game week 21, he scored 1 goal and got 3 assists. For someone of Palmer's quality, that's atrocious. That's really, really poor. And people like me that have kept him because of the fear factor. And there have been games where you would expect him to return really well. Like I think it was like Southampton in that run.
Is that it?
Ipswich. It's really, really bad.
And of course,
I captained him for that Leicester game. Was it Leicester where he missed the penalty?
The last time me and Steve went on a day out, which we're going to do again this weekend, which maybe we'll mention a bit later, because we're probably going to make an FPL video when we're out. And I captained Salah and you captained Palmer, and he missed the penalty, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a penalty. It was the first ever penalty he's missed.
Yeah.
Couldn't make it up. I was legitimately just rejected.
We were in McDonald's and you went to the toilet, I remember, and you came back and you read it and you were like, we were so relaxed having such a nice time, and Steve was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Scream.
Yeah.
But that's been my season so far. It's been those tiny differential captaincy picks or tiny little transfer picks, and all of a sudden that player gets injured, misses a penalty, gets sent off, whatever it is. We never seem to get the rub of the green. This season does feel very, very in favour of the template type team, if I'm honest with you. And I think now, like I stated, I think now is the time to really attack. If you're doing as badly as I am this season, I think just go for it, basically. And Bowen's a great captaincy shout, I think, against Tottenham. I think he's
a better one, I think, than Mbuemo.
Yeah, no, I wanted it, but Brentford's fixtures are better than West Ham's, and West Ham's form at the moment is really, really poor. So it's kind of the reason why we're going in Burmo. But certainly you wanting to bring in Bowen and Burmo, I'm pretty envious of.
Okay, can we have a look at my team?
I think there's no one else. I think they're the obvious two, aren't they, in midfield? unless someone has a double game week.
Okay, this is my team. I'm playing Martinez over Raya. I'm not sure about that one, to be honest. Then Kivior against Bournemouth. I mean, I'll ask you guys this now. Let's Talk FPL. Andy said earlier on he thinks everyone apart from the centre-backs and the goalkeeper are up for rotation against Arsenal this weekend. Would you agree with that? I mean, it doesn't affect us too much, but...
Yeah, pretty much, I think. Liverpool have won the league now, haven't they? So Arsenal are safe in top 5.
I mean, he thinks there's no one that can basically, that there's too many injuries to cover the defence. So, the defenders will play. Anyway, Kivior at home to Bournemouth. Kilman against Tottenham. God, why did I bring in him on the World Cup? Gavardio at home to Wolves. Sarr and Eze at home to Nottingham Forest. Rodgers at home to Fulham. Salah, currently my vice-captain, away to Chelsea. It's weird looking because after you've had your free hit team, it's like I haven't seen this team for ages. Do you know what I mean? Isaac away to Brighton. Matera at home to Forest. Mamouche, currently my captain, at home to Wolves.
Our teams are almost identical, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very... Well, it's because we wildcard at the same time, isn't it? And then Raya, Saka, Livramento and Mazwawi on the bench. I'm being completely boring. I'm thinking of exactly the same transfer in as you guys and Burmo. And it would have to be for Saka because, Saka's not playing, is he? Is it one Premier League game out of 5 he's started since he returned from injury, something like that?
Yeah, no way he starts. No way.
Plus, he's a load of money. So I'm thinking, it's either that or save up. If 36 is announced to be a double game week, I probably will save it. Because
the problem with 36 is you look at how many players you're going to have for 37, and you're not going to have very many. So Palace aren't in 37, and Villa aren't in 37, and City aren't in 37. You've got hardly anyone to play.
So if anyone blanks, even if Tottenham blank, they will. Anyone who doubles will blank in 37. Yeah, and I've already got 2 Villa. I've already got.
So we don't really want people to double, in my opinion.
No, we don't, because I've got...
Steve-O probably does, because he's got a more balanced team than we have.
Yeah.
Our team's all for the double game week players.
Yeah, but it'll give you a bit of an advantage.
The problem is, the double game week players will probably only play one of those fixtures anyway, and then they won't have a fixture in 37. So they'll end up playing less fixtures than players that don't have double game weeks.
If you were to bring in Mbermo, is it in for Mateta? In the sense of you put Mbermo in for Mateta over 3-5-2?
No, I think it'd probably be Sarr. Do you know what really pissed me off, guys? When I did my solo live stream on Saturday, I'm going to be doing another one, just to plug it here, Saturday evening at some point. And I didn't realise that Crystal, I don't keep up with the FA Cup. I didn't realise that they played. And then right at the end of the live stream, I went and looked and saw that Eze had scored, Sarr had scored 2. I think Eze and Mateta both had an assist as well. And I was like, why could you not have done that the last couple of weeks? You know what I mean?
Sarr's been doing that all season. He's fucking annoying.
You always say, Steve.
It's been happening. It's been happening for years. It's when you expect a player to do well in the Premier League, they don't do anything, and then in the following game, whatever cup competition it doesn't matter whether it's the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League, Europa League, I don't care what it is, they go and do what you expect them to do in the Premier League. It happens all the bloody time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you say. I hadn't thought about it, but maybe considering I've got to get, 30...
Just save.
Why? Why though? As if you're saying, as if you're saying 36 ends up, we don't want to bring anyone else in, then I don't know. I think I probably will do Saka to Mbermo. Because haven't people said if there is going to be a double game week, it will almost 100% be announced by Friday, and if it isn't, the chances of there being a double game week are like pretty much nothing.
Forest are going to be tired, aren't they? Because they're playing tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Palace are relatively fresh.
But they're playing on Monday though.
They're going
I suppose Forest have got a bit of time, haven't they, to recover? They've got more time than Brentford have to recover.
Palace are going to be on a high as well with the FA Cup.
Yeah,
final.
I mean, Sire could do as well as Mbuemo this week.
Steve, Nick. When I was doing my solo live stream on Saturday, I was trying to remember. I'm only asking you this because you're probably old enough to remember. When was the last time Crystal Palace were in an FA Cup final? I
have no idea. I don't remember them being in one.
I had a vague memory that they either lost against Man United or Liverpool. They drew in one game, and then either Man United, I think it might have been Liverpool, thrashed them in the second game. I think this might have been like the late 80s, very early 90s.
Yeah, I don't keep up with the FA Cup. I stopped caring about that by then. So ask me about 1970s ones, and I know them all, but anything after that.
Okay. Zeitgoal saying he wants to get O'Brien in, particularly if they have a double. O'Reilly.
It's a good move, but he's a midfielder, isn't he?
He's a midfielder, isn't he?
Who does O'Reilly play for? I don't know that.
City.
Oh, okay. The young lad.
So he's an reverse OP.
He'll be a lot of money next year if he gets reclassified, won't he?
Yeah. Oh, he will be reclassified, yeah.
But he'll probably not play half the games. That's the problem, isn't it? Any City player you bring in.
It's the Rico Lewis effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does really well this season, towards the end of last season, comes at the start of this season, does okay, and then bang, he's gone.
All right, lads.
Foden, isn't it? It's great. And then next season they disappear.
All right, lads. Let's do our predictions before. Steve-O gave me a great compliment the other day. He said in a voice note, he said, "My channel is turning into something a bit like Juice, as in when I say I'm bored of talking purely about the current game week, I just stop and talk about other things." So we'll probably do that in a minute, but first of all, shall we do our predictions? It's a great compliment because I know how much Steve-O loves Juice. So Friday night, the first game. So do remember, everyone, that the deadline this week is at 6:30, isn't it? So what do you lads think? City versus Wolves. I mean, you were both saying you fancy Wolves.
Well, I expect Man City to win. I'm just going to go with the standard 2-1, but the form that both teams are in at the moment, like I say, I would not. If this ended up as a 2-2 draw, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'll go 2-1. Although based on what I've just seen on WhoScored.com, it's looking more likely a 2-0 victory for Man City.
You put a lot of trust in the past results, don't you, Steve?
That wasn't even past results. That's current results.
Oh, what, this season?
As it stands right now, yeah.
Okay.
But I know Man City do like playing Wolves a lot.
Nick?
I'll say 2-1 as well. That's what I was thinking too. I think it's going to be pretty close.
I'll go... Yeah, Wolves will probably score, especially in the form Cunha's on. I'll go 2-1 as well. Aston Villa versus Fulham. I'll go with this one first. I mean, Fulham don't really have anything left to play for, do they? Have they got a chance of getting into Europe?
Yeah, I think it goes down to almost like 9 or 10 spots for Europa.
Does it go that far?
Because of the way teams have gone to the finals of cups and whatnot. So,
do you know what's the name of the? I was trying to remember it the other day. The one that a lot of people refer to as the Mickey Mouse European Cup. You know, the one that's like the
Europa Conference,
the one Chelsea are in.
The Europa Vauxhall Conference League. So I'll go. Well, then again, Villa are probably going to be a bit. I'll go 1-1.
I'll go 2-0 to Villa for this one.
Villa always concede, but they should be winning at home. They've got a very good record at home, so I'll go 2-1 to Aston Villa.
Yelena made me laugh when I had her on a couple of weeks ago and we were doing this section. She just actually got bored of doing the predictions about halfway through and she just started saying 2-0, 2-1. I was like, you're getting a bit bored doing this. And she said, yeah, this is why I don't do black box.
It's like that the scene in Extras with Andy Millman where he's like, how old's your dad? 100. 100.
Everton
Why are
versus
you lying?
Everton versus Ipswich. What do you reckon, Trig?
Oh, God. Fuck me. Just,
Two,
let's all say it.
2-0 again.
Yeah,
2-0
2-0, yeah.
All right. 2-0. I'm happy with that.
There's a hat trick.
Leicester versus Southampton. I'm going to call this one. I'm going to back my wild card, which isn't really my wild card, it's review. And I'm going to say, I'm going to be romantic, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go for 2-0 Leicester with a double for Vardy. A last Vardy party or a... Let's say rapid fire. They were very rapid fire predictions, Yelena. Lads?
I'm going to go with 2-1 Leicester.
I'll go 2-1 Southampton.
Wow.
2-1 Southampton.
I think Southampton are better than Leicester.
Are they...
Maybe they're not, but
keep
it's
talking.
at home for Leicester, though, isn't it?
Have they got enough points now to beat the worst ever team? I think they have, haven't they? In the
I
Premier
think
League
they're equal
history.
at the moment.
I guess it'd come down to
Think
goal difference then, wouldn't it?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that might be motivation just so they can say, "Oh, we've got more points at least than the Derby team." You know what I mean? Arsenal, Bournemouth. I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win here, and 2-1. Because if Arsenal do completely rotate, and they're not going to be in great spirits after last night either. Did you watch it, lads? I didn't actually watch last night's game.
Ray said it was pitiful from Arsenal.
Pitiful.
They're a bit unlucky not to get a goal, but PSG were the better team.
Do you know that Dembele lad? He went completely off the map, and all of a sudden this season he's like, because he signed for who did he sign? Was it Barcelona? He was part of the. They bought him in, didn't they, as part of the deal to replace.
Is he the guy from Borussia Dortmund? And then they got at Barcelona, and now he's gone here. Is that the right guy? There's so many Dembeles.
It might be, but he's at PSG now. I know they spent like 100 million on him from somewhere, and he was useless for about 5 or 6 years, and all of a sudden he seems to like be tearing things up again. Sorry, lads, what do you think for this one?
Well, I'm in agreement with you. I think that Bournemouth, I believe, have got a decent record against Arsenal, and I'm going to go with what happened against Brentford. I'm going to go 1-1.
It's tricky, this one, because I don't think Bournemouth are in great form, but I've got double Arsenal defence, mainly because I haven't got much choice, but I think one each.
Okay.
But it's tricky.
I'm
not expecting much from my defenders, to be honest.
Brentford versus Man United. Are there when are Europa League games? Are they this week?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that'll be tomorrow night, won't it? Steve-O, what do you reckon to this one?
If both teams turn up with the attitude of let's just have a bit of fun, this could be like a Brentford demolition job, like 3-4-0. Man United aren't going to turn up like that. They're going to sit back. It's ridiculous talking about Man United like this, but to be fair to Man United away from home, my recollection suggests that they don't do that great, but they don't concede many goals away from home. I just have this gut feeling that it's going to end up with Brentford beating them like 1-0, 2-0. I can't see Man United scoring, but for me, I'm going to be looking at the history when it comes to the captaincy, because it is, I'm now looking at it, it's going to be between Burmo and Isaac.
You're definitely not going Salah.
No, I have zero interest in Salah.
Okay. So it goes saying 2-1 Brentford, Shane saying 1-1. What do you reckon, Trig?
I'll go 1-1 as well. United don't concede many, like Steve-O said. Everyone always thinks they're going to get thrashed, but they don't, do they? When do they ever get really beaten up? Not very often.
Well, there was the 5-4 against Lyon, weren't they? But they scored 5. I guess it kind of cancels that out. I'll go 2-1 Brentford here. I reckon they'll be up for this one. Brighton, Newcastle. I'll go with this one as a Newcastle fan. And Brighton aren't in terrible form, are they? But we need the points really for the Champions League.
They are in terrible form.
Are they?
Yeah, they've been rubbish.
Okay.
They did all right last week. They beat West Ham, didn't they, last week?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
I'll go 3-2 to Newcastle, I think.
Yeah, I think there's should be goals. It's a bit gutting it's not in Newcastle. I think if it was at Newcastle, I'd be more confident with a win there for Newcastle.
Captain Isaac prefer at home, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely, certainly, Nick. I love the 3-2 either way. I'm just gonna sit on the fence and I'm gonna go 2-2.
Okay. Zeigel saying 3-2 as well. Shane's going 4-1 Newcastle. Isaac hat-trick. Well, you'll definitely be captaining them, won't you? West Ham Spurs. What do you think to this one, lads?
Well, West Ham are terrible. Spurs are just in apps. I've never known, apart from ironically Man United this season, a team of such high status within the Premier League falling off an absolute cliff. I think that West Ham, this is every opportunity for them to finally beat Spurs. I'm pretty certain their record is terrible. Again, it's that classic thing of if West Ham are up for it, they'll comfortably win because we know how Spurs are going to set up. I will go with West Ham, though, to win, but just a 2-1.
I think Ange is 100% out in this. I reckon even if they win the Europa League...
He noted him. He's already said he is, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, when they won the European game, he said, "Oh, you're going to have to put up with me for a bit longer." That's what he said.
So Nick, you're big on Bowen this week. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think 2 or 3-1 to West Ham. Just Tottenham are going to play kids, and they don't care, do they? Basically.
No, but you could say the same for Man United,
especially if Premier League don't allow them to have a double game week. Then they're going to sulk and protest by playing even more kids, I think. And, depends how their European game goes, I guess. But they've got no incentive to play anybody. I mean, it's all about Europe for them now, isn't it? Could have Tottenham and Man United in the final, wouldn't we? That would be good.
Yeah, that would be interesting. The two losers of the Premier League this season. What fight? Because they get a Champions League spot as well, don't they?
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I think someone said to me, I think it was Andrew commented a couple of weeks ago. It was during one of the streams I did with you, Nick, that we could have
6.
If Arsenal win the Champions... Oh, no, but Arsenal will actually... 6, yeah, we could have 6, because Arsenal will...
I think they have to qualify, though, for the Champions League. A qualifying game to get into the... I believe so.
Okay,
I don't...
Okay.
I could be completely wrong, but I think they get like a bye into the qualifying rounds before.
But they probably get through.
And if they get through that, they get into the Champions League. I could be completely wrong, but...
So Europe's pretty huge for them, isn't it? So why should they bother about the league, really?
Exactly.
Yeah. On that logic, I'll go 2-0.
That bloody FPL review wanted me to put my assistant manager on Tottenham for 3 weeks. I mean, that's just... What a load of crap, honestly.
I'll go 2-1 West Ham.
I can't think of a worse team to put it on. But they're not even table paying this game.
What's your plan then, Nick? Have you got anything solidified in for the assistant manager?
My plan is to play in 36 if there's no doubles. I might even leave it to 36 anyway, actually. I don't see any point in playing it now.
And you've got to play it then because there's only 3 games left. I mean, you'll be wasted if you don't play it then. Just to point out for everyone listening.
36, 37, 38. I wonder if you're allowed to start it after that.
I'm guessing you are.
2 weeks to go. I guess you could.
But there wouldn't be much point, would there?
It'd be pretty pointless, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not looking great. It's the main reason I'm going to have to change my team every week, and I'm doing it. And no one's got 3 great fixtures that I can just stick it on one team. Villa, I was thinking I could put it on Villa.
Zyko's saying Fark will fark off.
Just leave it on there. Just leave it on there and stuff it, you know what I mean? And just see what I end up with. But
so I'm going to say that one again. Zyko's saying Fark will fark off. I like that one. What do you reckon, Trig, for Chelsea-Liverpool? Chelsea, do you reckon Liverpool will be on the beach now? Or do you reckon the success of the Champions League will boost them up.
2-1 to Liverpool because I'm pessimistic and I want Maresca out and Chelsea have just been scraping through against rubbish teams, and Liverpool have fancied this one just because it's Chelsea. So they're not going to be on the beach for Chelsea, are they?
No. Steve-O?
And they're professionals. They won't have been getting drunk for the last 5 days or whatever, will they? Probably.
Yeah, I think Slot's, it's that classic line, isn't it? Again, if I think Slot's going to bring a professionalism to the team where it's not, it's like Scott Parker actually when we went the other day and beat, have I forgotten who we beaten? QPR 5-0. I expected that game to end up with either QPR
Burnley scored 5 goals
against us.
Burnley scored.
Yeah, away from home we're really good.
Wow.
We can score goals away from home, but at home we're absolutely useless. That's why against Millwall it's going to end up being 0-0 or 1-0 either way. But I think with Arne Slot, he's going to have the same attitude as Scott Parker. The only difference is I expect that there's going to be a few changes in this Liverpool team. My recollection again of these particular fixtures are always quite very low scoring 0-0s, 1-0s. Chelsea playing in Europe this particular week, they're going to put out a full strength team. I just think that it's going to end up being some drab 1-1, something like that. I'd probably put in the Super Brew 2-1 to Liverpool, but I think here I'll just say 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea with Palmer with 2 goals. Just because.
Yeah, well, you know it's going to happen, mate. You know it.
What was I
I'd
going
love
to
to
say?
see Chelsea win. Maybe they can do it. I don't know.
So last game, Crystal Palace,
I think
Forest. I'm going to go. I think you're right, actually, Nick, with what you were saying earlier. There's not much of a gap. I
Is
reckon.
that a table bonus game? Let me have a look.
Yeah, we'll
have a look.
Because Crystal Palace are like 10th, something like that, 10th, 11th, 12th.
I'll go 2-1 Crystal Palace here because I reckon they're going to be up. This is like the FA Cup final that could have been. And we've got the winners and the losers. So I'm going to go 2-1 Crystal Palace. What do you reckon, Steve?
Yeah, I think they beat. I actually think if they're up for it, Crystal Palace beat Man City. I really do truly believe that. If they've got belief in themselves, which they should do, I think they should be able to take advantage of a really poor Man City this year. And I expect them, I think they should be beating someone like Nottingham Forest. And I think maybe like a 2-0, something like that.
I'll go for a draw. I'm thinking about table bonus. It is a table bonus. There's
You could get Glasner in there with your assistant manager, couldn't you?
Forest are in 6th place and Palace are in 12th. And he's cheap as well, Glasner, isn't he?
Yeah, and remember...
Everybody else has been winning all their assistant manager games on Glasner. I play it, and the little fuckers are going to lose 2-0 at home to Forest.
Hopefully.
I might, because Forest are going to be a bit tired.
Hold on a minute. Hold on, Nick. If your team is exactly
hang
the
on.
same...
There's a game tomorrow night. Oh,
no.
Yeah, but Forest can only go up,
team...
can't they? They're not going to go down.
Oh, I can't play it on Palace.
Yeah.
I've got too many Palace players.
Exactly.
This is why I hate that.
What a shame.
I hate that southern chip.
Well, you could take a hit and
and then they lose at home to Forest, and I've taken a hit. Mind you, if I lose, at least I will have done well getting rid of one of them. But
you could put it on
Sar's on my bench. I could just lose Sar to no, I haven't got the money to Sar to Bowen.
You could put it on the Brighton manager against Newcastle if you wanted to start using it in 35, but using it in 36, it really doesn't matter much.
Yeah, and you're going to need 1 million to buy Glasner as well, aren't you? Or whatever it actually costs.
Yeah, I might leave it till game week 36. I think.
Yeah.
Well, if you got rid of Saka, maybe then.
Yeah, I can play
because you're still going to have Crystal Palace 3 of them.
Of course.
Yeah, and there's no one from Palace I can take out to buy anybody good. I could get rid of my Tata, I suppose, couldn't I? And buy Vissa or buy Vardy. No, but I could get rid of my Tata. But then I'm stuck with Saka and not having Mbeumo, who everyone else has got. So it's kind of a bit risky, isn't it?
All right, lads. So I am going to put us. I can remember how to do it. Full screen. We're going to have a chat about a few things. So,
good.
First of all, I will advertise that the next guest, hopefully next week, he's got to ask his wife, is going to be Andrew, Let's Talk FPL Nightmare. And he asked me, so basically for anyone who's not a fan of FPL Nightmare, I strongly suggest you go out and check out his content. Great stuff. But he usually does these promo type videos to the screen where he's, arguing about his... he's almost like... Come on, you help me describe it. He's like almost like... it's like a antagonistic way of talking to the rivals in his mini league, or not even antagonistic. But
it's a WWE style promo, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. But although the latest video is more of a Steve-O / TriggerLips style rant, so he went, which was absolutely fucking hilarious.
So I'm going to ask you, Steve. So he started it with the normal style, then he went into actual Andrew talking normally, and then he went back into like I'm too depressed to do a video this week. Have a long rant, a Steve-O style rant, and then lifted himself up. So I'll ask you guys. I mean, I liked it. I know that he's planning on. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. He said we could talk about it on camera. I know he's planning to start live streaming next season. Probably it's his main.
God help you.
But guys? What did you think? So Nick said he probably wouldn't. And you probably wouldn't enjoy his comments. So I'll start with Steve-O. We'll start with the positives.
Yeah, like I said, I love naturalistic style content. I think it's real, it's honest, it's from the heart. And the way, obviously, Andrew eloquently scripts his particular videos, it's beyond me. Like, I can't get my head around it. I can't spend 5 minutes writing down statistics, let alone writing out a script. And he spends the amount of time that he does on a video that he edits really, really well. This specific video, I was just consuming it. I know it got a lot of traction on X. I think something like 33,000 views for the clip that he put up, the 2-minute clip that he put up. I'm hoping
for this
within
one?
reason. Yeah, I'm hoping enough. Well, no, I meant the clip on X.
Okay.
I'm hoping that a few people have at least clicked on the link to his YouTube. But the point being is that once he started cutting off the music and had a bit of mellow music in the background, basically, rather than the traditional stuff, and just wanted to talk seriously about how he's feeling, I was legit to me in stitches. I was in the shower and crying with laughter because I reiterate this point. It's coming from the heart. It's the truth. And that's the kind of content that I love, self-deprecating individuals, and it's nothing too serious. It's just a joke. It's a laugh. And if you can't have a laugh, if people take it, it's like with Elite FPL. If you seriously think that I'm going to be walking over to Hanwell and jumping off the bridge, you need to reevaluate yourself, basically. It's just a joke. And that's what I really appreciated with Andrew's latest video that he did.
So he's got 671 views on it after one day. And I know Andrew's usually is happy. Well, I think he said in that video, if he gets above 200, that's good. So, I mean, I think the thing I'll talk directly to Andrew here that you should take from it is, the interview I did with him, he was amazed that his interview's still more watched than the FPL Raptors, I think, because he spoke so honestly, and he's speaking honestly again here. So, and he's
run that past me again.
His interview with me has got more
more views
than FPL Raptors interview with me got.
I could be here all day talking about things like this, but people don't give a fuck about big content creators. Like, in the sense of, no disrespect, but just fake people. They don't care. They can see right through it. And I gave my opinion to you privately. I'm not really willing to discuss on here publicly my opinion on that interview, but I enjoyed the interview for what it was. But I can understand why people want to watch
with Roz.
Yeah, the people, not just him, but it could be any of the big, because there's other videos on your channel with very large content creators that have barely surpassed 1,000 views, and Andrews has done really, really well because you've got a bloke in his 40s. But joking aside, there's a bloke that genuinely is passionate about something that he plays, and it's from the heart, and people gravitate towards it. They connect with it, and they want to consume it, and they're engaged with it. Whereas listen to somebody, I don't care whether you've named this particular individual in Raptor, but whether you're him or some other big channel where they just waffle on about the fact that, well, I'm at 100,000 subscribers and I'm really happy, right? I don't care. Like that doesn't tell me anything. That's just, you've got 100. I don't really relate with it. If you were to say, I've got 100,000 subscribers and I'm really, really, really like deep down struggling keeping up with having to do YouTube stuff. At that point, I'm like, oh, that's quite interesting. Someone that at a high level, I don't care if it's FPL or fitness, whatever it is, at that level, you're opening up about the fact that you're struggling with your mental health or with the things that you're doing behind the scenes, you're genuinely struggling with. I find that really engaging and I can relate with that. But for any large, content creator to come onto your specific interview series and kind of just, gloss over the fact that, yeah, it's pretty easy getting to 15,000 subscribers within a week, within a month. I personally can't get with that. It just kind of bores me, really. Whereas for instance, with the likes of Andrew or Nick here, or I can't even think of other names off the top of my head right now, but Roberto, it's just engaging. It's real people talking about their real, genuine problems and emotions when it comes to taking a game seriously. Whereas when you listen to large content creators, again, I reiterate, not just FPL, but they kind of gloss over the fact that what they've done has been really, really difficult. They've just literally told you, Gary, in this specific case with FPL, they've just gone, yeah, it's pretty easy, really, getting to 50,000 subscribers. It's pretty easy. I
will say I've got this one. This is currently available to channel members, Nick, but no, it won't be available to the general public for a few weeks. I interviewed FPL Fran, the other day, and he was actually very honest with me that he really goes up and down. He actually thought about quitting at one point because he was doing so badly. I think it was last season at FPL when he was seeing his subscribers go down. So that was really good. Interesting. Just a couple of comments. Zykel, no worries, mate. I'm not going to say what you said out loud, but no worries. I completely understand. And also, the other thing I was going to say is Ricky Rich FPL, Ricardo is in the chat saying the greatest video of all time. And I also like, and tie this in with yourself, Steve-O, on Elite FPL, that the content was sort of wrapped around a normal member of the FPL community. Do you know what I mean? When he said that Ricky had told him you're the man, you know what I mean? You can still do this. I really like that as well.
Yeah, like I say, it's a person that we all can relate with. There's no facade around it. It's why I was going to joke on here earlier, but now it's been brought up. Like me and Shane did a part 1 of a Total Steve-O podcast about, it was quite a deep discussion regarding the fitness industry, shall we say, and the use of technology, etc., etc., etc.
Did you record that today?
And no, it won't be out for 2 weeks. But the point being is that you've completely lost my train of thought now, Gary. Brilliant.
I will say for wrestling fans out there, I listened to you and Ray's Total Steve-O podcast on the latest episode, the Vince McMahon documentary, the final part. I really enjoyed it. So I suggest wrestling fans check that out.
Very good. I've just realised what my train of thought was. But me and Shane were talking about how in the fitness industry, for instance, for argument's sake, how fake it is. These fake personas that are portraying themselves as one thing when in reality there's something completely different. I can use these 2 particular names as examples because I was actually talking to Steve, my housemate, about this. The 2 individuals are Mike Thurston and Matt Does Fitness, aka Legend of Gladiator. Matt Does Fitness, I'm not going to use the language that I used in front of Steve, but just an absolute piece of shit, basically, when it comes to YouTube.
I didn't realise he was on Gladiators because you moaned about him so much, and I looked him up and realised, he's a...
Yeah, but this is what I was going to say. On YouTube, he's a piece of shit. He's just working what the algorithm does. Well done, mate. On Gladiators, I actually see that's the kind of real him. basically. I think that's what he's kind of like, because they do like these crappy backstage segments which are a waste of time, but you see the real person. And here's the irony, is that on Gladiators he's supposed to be portraying a character, and actually that's kind of pretty much him, whereas in his videos this nonsense that he's doing to just get views and views and views is pathetic. And he openly admitted on Mike Thurston's podcast, it was like 2 hours long, he's like a bit like Fran, he can't stand doing it. He hates doing it. He finds it really, really difficult to be producing the content that he does. And this is a person that's got God knows how many millions of subscribers on YouTube alone. He's getting an average viewership of 300,000 views per video. No matter how shit the videos are, he's still getting it because they're all clickbaity. And he and this Mike Thurston, they're both best mates. They just openly talk about how they just realised that back in the day, they just sold their souls just to get their names out there. And it like, for me, it's interesting, but I just don't relate with it. I don't have any connection with what they do. Whereas linking it back to Andrew, for argument's sake, or TriggerLips or Yelena, whatever, they're just normal, everyday people discussing their opinions or vocalizing their opinions in front of their camera phones or their GoPros about how they're legitimately feeling. But the reality is, people find it quite uncomfortable because they actually, like, from the world of psychology, let's get real here, they kind of almost see themselves in the person on the screen and they're like, oh, I don't like that. Let's just back that off, really. But the problem with the world of FPL is that, as discussed to death, is that it's such a quick turnover for content. Like you stated on your own stream/interview the other week, it's like 24 hours, that information dead. And these people that are part of the FPL community that are doing very, very well, the stress that they must be under to be getting the content out as quickly as possible. You know, like with, for instance, a double game week announcement, what was it? Whenever it was, 25 or whatever. And I think it was, I forget, it's FPL Phillips or whatever his damn name was that you had on. And he was talking about the pressures that he felt about having to get a video out as quickly as possible before Andy was doing it. But the problem is that FPL Phillips doesn't have, it's not his job. He is a full-time worker, and he realised that by the time he was to get home and announce about the double game week, everybody knows about it anyway, because the likes of Andy, Raptor, Focal, etc. have released this information really quickly. So it's already outdated. So who's going to come to their channel and watch it? FPL is a very, very, very difficult business, Gary, from that point of view.
Let me keep it. Guserio says Nightmare's video is unique with great comedy timing and excellent FPL knowledge. Great stuff. Nick, what were your opinions? We've done the positives.
Right. Now, no, this is positive. I think Andy is one of the most genuine, refreshing characters to come onto FPL content creation for a long time. That interview you did with him was the best content I've seen all year, basically. And that thing he did the other day was great. But I really wish he'd talk more in his own voice and do more of that kind of thing. Because, like he says himself, that show that he does normally is very Marmite. People either love it or they hate it. And I went round to my mate's house and showed him the video, and he just couldn't watch it for more than a couple of minutes, you know, and he's like, the big ball's cool and all that type of thing. I just wish he'd do more of stuff like he did today, you know, just talking in his normal voice and in a like heartfelt way like he did this time. It was fantastic, absolutely awesome. Fantastic.
Well, I will not speak on his behalf, but I think we may well see that going forward. From he's a good mate and we talk a lot. So yeah. But
no, it's all positive. He's great, you know. He really is. And we want to see more of him.
So I've got,
and not like this persona that he puts on, you know. With
so I've got a couple of things, other things I wanted to talk about, lads. Right, so we're going to end with a Steve-O getting something off of his chest about a particular television program.
I just did, didn't I?
No, about a certain Netflix program, Steve-O. But first of all, I want to get something off my chest. And Steve-O, you're implicated in this as well. So before I started this, I watched a channel that I will not name. It's actually quite a small... Well, it's actually a channel. Maybe I should get those lads on here at some time, which has got over 6,000 subscribers. But they only have about 4 or 5 people watching their general live streams because they're one of those that was so old, like 8, 9 years old. So they obviously got a lot of subscribers back in the day. Anyway, they're...
Sounds familiar.
Their thumbnail... Their thumbnails, they've been going longer than you, Steve, said, you double game week 26. And I have seen 5 or 6. Now, to be fair, they did have a question mark, exclamation mark behind it. But I believe even yours, Steve-O, had double game week. Clickbait titles in FPL. That's basically what I want to ask you about. Because every time I see one of those, I'm like, has it been announced? Has it been announced? Has it been announced? And it sort of winds me up a bit. What are your lads' thoughts?
Go for it, Nick, because...
Steve-O's got...
What are we talking about? Clickbait titles on thumbnails? Is that what we're talking about?
Basically suggesting that it's been a double game week announcement when there obviously hasn't been. Steve-O's got to... Talk for a bit, Nick. Yes. So Steve-O, give Steve-O time to think of his defence.
It's the modern media, isn't it? It's like I click on general articles about football and it'll be like, Arsenal have a massive injury, and then you'll go and look at the article and it'll be like some reserve player. Do you know what I mean? And it's like all designed to try and get you to... It's just clickbait, isn't it? It's the best way to describe it, really. It's a proper name for it, but it's happening everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just FPL.
No, but a lot of them now, you see the big mainstream content creators every week. It's like my this, my that, my this, my final this, and my final that, and my initial wild card, my middle wild card, my M wild card, and it's just getting crazy.
And it never is their final thing, is it?
No, it never is. And that's another thing that bugs me when people coming on and they don't do what they say they're going to do. I think I watched General talking to Joe. I watched it about 5 weeks in a row, and like General come on the Tuesday going, I might captain Palmer. But every week, Salah. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, so I stopped watching them. And good shows, good manager and all that. But nothing annoys me more than people not doing what they say they're going to do when they come up with these things, And it always starts off the week, it's a differential. By the end of the week, they haven't got them. Do you know what I mean? So,
just say hello to a good friend of the channel, Roberto. Just join us in the chat.
So that's my rant. Now you can, Steve-O can have his one.
Yeah, have you had a chance to think of your defence?
It's not really a defence. I think Nick's kind of summed it up. I think that we do live in this day and age of clickbait titles. I personally messaged you and said that I'm going to be deliberately taking Nathan Bacon's advice. For anybody that isn't aware, that Gary's finally released the interview publicly regarding interviewing Nathan Bacon. And spoiler alert, during it, he does talk quite interestingly about the YouTube algorithm and how he studied it a lot. And for me, I'm kind of doing small experiments with Elite FPL where basically I'm using clickbait titles and kind of copying some of the big content creators to see if when somebody watches, for argument's sake, Andy's video, it will then recommend another FPL video with similar
That was his logic. That was his logic. His logic was basically once someone's finished watching, say something that has Game Week 34 in it, it will then go on to the next.
That's correct. Yeah. And I don't have any problem with the clickbait titles. It's when, as Nick completely and rightly said, is when it isn't really as dramatic as what the particular article or video is about. Like Nick, like it would be in WWE, for instance, it would be huge WWE star out there for weeks. And then you watch the video and it's like 5 minutes of chatting about absolute twaddle. And then eventually it's, oh, did you hear that Maven is out for 8 weeks?
Yeah.
He's on the main roster, but he's not like a major star, like, for argument's sake, The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, etc., etc. And unfortunately, we do live in this day and age of clickbaity titles. I don't really have a direct problem with it. It's when the information that's being given within that clickbait title is completely different to what's the title is actually all about. I find that's a bit annoying, whereas in like my video the other day, it was, I can't remember, the double game week 36 announcement ? And there's a brief moment where I speak about the fact that Ben Crellin has put up the fact that there's potentially this percentage of Man City, Wolves and whoever else going to be doubling in game week 36. It's done fuck all for the algorithm, but it's
Didn't you say to me as well, the one that you put out that was like the ultimate free hit draft got the worst views of any of your videos for weeks?
It's mental. The algorithm for me is shitting on everything. I mean, Spotify, I'm out of my 360 episodes of Total Steve-O, about 300 are going to be removed because it's now not allowing you to have music on. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And I'm not going through the fucking process of going through 5 different pages to go, it's for review only. Do you know how long that would take me to do? I don't care. Just get them gone then. If I'm not allowed to have some fucking shitty deathcore act from 2006, playing, or My Chemical Romance or Escape the Fate, well, fuck you then. I don't care enough. If I was making money from it, slight difference. But for the way algorithms, AI, copyright companies, all this nonsense doesn't allow you to play some quick 2-minute song, it's beyond a joke, to be honest with you. And that's what we're all fighting against. Algorithms. I know FPL Mate speaks openly about how he tried to master the algorithm, and it's worked for him as well. They've all done it. It's, shall we say, their job to find out how to master the algorithm.
What difference do you think the tags make when you do a video? What do you put in yours? I just put FPL and Fantasy Premier League in.
Steve had a great theory about this. What was it? Something we did it. We both tried it a couple of months ago, and it made absolutely no difference, did it?
Regarding the put it on the unlisted.
I can't remember what it was. No, it was another.
Yeah,
thing.
It was basically no. This is good advice. So in your
it made no difference
on your YouTube videos, your generic. If you go into the details section, you can basically fill it all out, and then every time you upload a video, it's already automatically there to be used. So in the tag section, just type in every single Premier League team, and then just put in there FPL tips, FPL advice, blah blah blah. Tag titles, yeah. Whether it has any bearing on it or not, I'd like to think that there is some kind of reason why it's used for. And then when it comes to your actual title description, so it'll be, game week 33 review, and underneath still put FPL, fantasy football, and I think it does make a tiny difference. I've never really experimented enough to discover if it actually works with or without the tags, but I can probably say that with my former channel, the Total Steve-O one that I was doing with shitty deathcore reaction videos, it made no difference whatsoever. I think it's more down to the title, if I'm honest with you. I think that's more of the way the algorithms work and what the actual title has in it.
I mean, if I want to watch an FPL that I don't subscribe to, I just type in FPL into YouTube, and a lot of FPL content comes up, doesn't it? So you've got to assume that the tags are going to be responsible for that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, the FPL, I mean, when you type in on an anonymous, a completely unbiased computer, which I've done at work, and just type in FPL, you are literally, all you get is all the big guns. Not a single... In fact, I will throw them under a bus, but I was trying to look for basically FPL juice. Didn't even exist under FPL. Didn't even exist. Now, obviously, there are hundreds of FPL channels out there, but for FPL juice not to even be in it is disgraceful.
I think a lot of them actually paid for subscribers.
Of course.
As well.
Oh, yeah, of course. Fucking every time I go on Google Ads, there it is.
A lot of them bought subscribers, Mate and all of them. Like 20k.
Well, I know for fact.
I will say this is Nick's view, not that of the channel. Let's whatever my bloody channel name is.
I do know a content creator that doesn't exist anymore. They definitely paid for subscribers, and they went from, for argument's sake, 2,000 subscribers, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they were up to 20,000 because they paid for it.
I mean, it probably does help.
Lads, this is going to... Go on, Steve.
I don't think it helps in the sense of for viewership because you're paying for things that don't exist. So you can have 20,000 subscribers, but you're only getting 100
Well, it's going to put you higher up in the rankings, and casuals that don't know you are going to see your number of subscribers. And are more likely to
I watched the video the other day. I don't know why it came up in my suggested videos, and it was this young lad. He's playing a computer game or something, and he had 2,000 subscribers, but none of his videos had ever had more than 3 views.
Wow.
A little bit suspicious. He didn't even look like he could afford bots. So I was like, has he actually gone and opened like 2,000 email accounts just to sign up? I mean, 4 of my subscribers are me. Because I sometimes, as you do, Steve-O, just to give myself a little bit of a confidence boost, go and like after I've done a stream or something, just go and say, "Good stream, lads." giving away tips of the game. I mean, it makes absolutely no difference, but you know what I mean. It's just like.
I'll tell you the one thing that does make a difference, genuinely, is what you said: watch time and engagement. They are definitely the two. I guarantee with your videos, Nick, and your videos, Gary, the ones that have had the most views are the ones that have had most engagement and most watch time. Guarantee it. That's what will really push a video.
Well, biggest video on my channel is the one with Mark Southerns. That's got 2,000 hours watch time, and people are still watching it now. I think particularly after he.
But it's like Mira said to you: these interviews are timeless. Yeah, they're completely timeless. It's not like they're specifically talking about a game week or anything. It is, I'm talking about my life. Here it is.
Yeah, so, lads, I wanted to talk about.
We're talking about TV now.
No, not quite yet. So,
who's watching this?
we've lost a few viewers, but Black Box has started. We're still on 16, which is brilliant. So, for anyone who's watched my interview with Steve, and by the way, I would say that I'm video with FPL Nathan Bacon has here we go. We can't keep Nick for more than 2 hours about him needing to leave. Briefly to go and get his door. That's not had many views, which I'm really surprised about. I'd highly recommend you go out and check out his channel because he has a really unique approach to FPL content, which is why we did the interview in the first place. But we kind of need Nick back for this part, Steve-O. But anyone who's not watched Nathan Bacon's videos, he has a really unique approach, doesn't he, Steve-O? Basically like almost like a comedy approach. Did it surprise you that fellow FPL content creator basically ruined their season for views?
Well, it's a gimmick, isn't it? It's just a gimmick. I know that he does play Champions League pretty seriously, based on his ex.
He does. He has some
account.
good ranks.
Yeah, absolutely. He clearly knows what he's talking about, but the channel itself is very gimmicky, and it's based on, as we're all fully aware, a joke at the end of the day. And to be able to get the viewers in, he needs to be more elaborate with what he's doing. I mean, I've watched a few of his videos. Some of the editing involved is just absolutely absurd. It makes Andrew look like an amateur. It's just crazy. But I think he's back down because he did a stream. I think it may have been at the start of the season. I can't remember. Maybe even that last season where he basically the word broke down is a bit strong, but he did do a video very similar to Andrew and many others where it was just like, I can't deal with this fucking game anymore. I can't be bothered to be putting the amount of effort I do into my videos. So I'm just going to be this instead. Now, I can't comment on what his stuff is like now, but certainly last season, again, we go back to the realness of somebody actually opening their heart up and telling you do you know what? I'm going to let you in behind the fourth wall here. I'm just going to expose everything because I've just got nothing to lose anymore. I just don't care. And guess what? Usually that works, Gary.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Who's this we're talking about?
Nathan Bacon, the interview that came out
a
couple of days ago. Lads, I need a pee, so I'm not gonna end the stream. I'm gonna set you off on a conversation that I know Steve-O wants to have with you. So Steve-O, for anyone,
excellent.
Steve-O, who people may not know, is the originator of many things, as he claimed in my interview with him. The first ever Deadline stream, the first ever vlog.
This is about walking videos.
It's about no, not just about walking videos, Trig. Also about driving videos. So I believe Steve-O, I did prep him for this. May want to give. So Nick started doing a few of these recently, walking and driving videos. So while I go and powder my nose and make myself look beautiful, I am going to allow Steve-O. Do you mind taking control for a moment and giving Nick your advice?
Well, I said it in my own video, didn't I? For anybody that doesn't know as well, Gary's literally just said about Nick doing his own personal vlogging style videos, and obviously the most recent one that he did, wasn't it, Nick, was in a car. And I was just making the point.
Yeah, copying you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just making the point that what we need is for you to press that button that spins it around for selfie mode. Because with most vlogs, we want to see you. We want to see the guy behind in front of the camera. And you should be able to do it on your phone. There's a button which...
on your ones, I always want to see more of the scenery.
See, that's really interesting because that's really interesting. Explain why, from your point of view, you prefer seeing the scenery and what's going on.
I see you all the time, but when you're doing a walking video, I like to see the scenery, and especially with yours, because I used to live near Dartmoor and go on walks there, and I just love seeing the scenery. And like mine are in New Zealand, and I get a lot of comments from people who like to see the different scenery. Whereas if it's just on me, plus if I'm driving, it's kind of a bit off-putting. I'd rather... I strapped it to a book in the phone and put like a cord around it and just put it on the dashboard. So it was right up by the windscreen. So I couldn't really interact with it as I'm going along and changing facing me or facing the road. So I don't know. But personally, on your ones, I prefer seeing the scenery. But
it's kind of trying to find that balance, to be honest with you, because with for argument's sake, with heavy metal vloggers, the worst thing that they can do is record a set of whoever's performing and kind of edit it to where you're essentially watching the set. I don't really care about watching Fear Factory, for argument's sake. Watch a couple of songs, but I want to see the person that's vlogging enjoying the music, or afterwards give a quick review of, oh my God, that was exhausting. I can't believe how well Fear Factory performed, and so on and so forth. And I think in our tiny little space, I think that having the slight switch of camera, you don't have to be on yourself for too long, but I think it just gives an insight into, there's TriggerLips walking along. There's a guy that I watch called Chidvids, and when he records himself, predominantly, don't get me wrong, I agree with you that I like to look at the scenery that he's doing and what he's looking at, but it is quite nice when he puts the camera on himself and he's talking about whatever it is. It's just nice to kind of be able to see who the person is behind the camera, basically.
The first one I did, I was like me, wouldn't it? And you could see the scenery. But that was walking, driving. I cannot be changing the thing while I'm driving, especially on that road. I mean, that video doesn't show just how treacherous that road is.
Yeah.
And it's really steep as well. And I cannot be like leaning forward trying to change the way to...
Yeah, what I will say is, what I do find really, really relaxing, I suppose, when watching your videos or any vlogs, it's just you feel now we're living in this day and age where a lot of people are staying indoors and everything. It's just nice feeling like you're in the company of someone just spouting their thought process about something that you're passionate. In this case, FPL. You know, you're genuinely just driving your car and you're speaking for 20 minutes about FPL. Well, people out there like me, Gary, and so on and so forth, are wanting just to hear someone like I state, just talk passionately about FPL. But in this case, there's a bonus of the beautiful scenery that you are showing us as you're driving along or walking along.
That's kind of why I had it on this actual scenery rather than me and the interior of the car. But but it's like you said, it's really enjoyable. They're not easy to do, are they? I don't know if you find it's quite hard to talk and drive and everything at the same time.
I mean, I find it quite easy. I've been doing it for so bloody long that it just comes so natural to me. There have been some videos where I've pretty much gone, I cannot release that because some of the things that I have said are I'd be cancelled in the world of FPL. But certainly what happens when you are doing these particular videos is that you're caught in your own thought processes and you're spouting off from the heart. Hence why the video that I did on Dartmoor reacting to, I don't know if Shane's still here, but reacting to his comment regarding the FPL community and just being dead, that there were a lot of people that absolutely hated it. But I believe, like what Gary was saying regarding people hating on our teams, is it's a reflection of them and they don't like seeing what they see in the mirror. So they're like, no, I can't really listen to somebody talking like this because subconsciously they're thinking, oh, this is a reflection of me. Whereas for you, like you stated, as you're driving along, you're giving us, the audience, an idea of your personal circumstances of where you are, what you're doing. But you're also giving us your FPL thoughts, which is another thing that we're interested in, and it just works seamlessly. But you are right, when you are walking, like I've done some in central London, it's fucking mental. I was going to do one yesterday, funny enough, in Leicester Square, and I was going to randomly just go up to PSG fans, but I just don't have the confidence to do something like that. But I was also thinking of walking from Leicester Square to the zoo, which is a hell of a walk, and just it would take me through Piccadilly, Mayfair, go to Oxford Street, go round to Baker Street, etc. But I thought this video is going to be about an hour long. I would not be able to speak for an hour because me personally, subconsciously, I feel like, oh, I can't really talk about other things other than FPL. But like you quite rightly stated, actually, you kind of want a tiny little break from FPL and talk to me about that shop across the road and what's interesting about it.
Lads, the other thing I had noted that we were talking, sorry, Nick, was what would make FPL content better. But I think, could we put it down to just being more personalised, more? Yeah,
I think
real.
So, and more spontaneous as well. I think.
Yeah.
Because this is what I like about these phone ones. I can be going along with no intention of doing anything, and then suddenly I get a thought about FPL in my head now, and I just like bring the phone up. And it just comes across better, I think, like spontaneous, not planned, and
people resonate with it.
Things.
They resonate with it because, like you stated, die-hard, whatever we may think of ourselves, we are die-hard FPL players. And we're always thinking in our heads about the upcoming game week, no matter what. And there are other people out there, people even watching this, whether they want to deny it or not, they will be thinking about FPL along a lot of the time throughout the day. So when people like you come along and just go, do you know what, fuck it, I'm thinking about the fact that I've got a dilemma here. Do I captain Mbermo? Do I captain Bowen? Do I even bring them in? What about Saka, Savinho? And for you to talk for 10, 15 minutes of you spouting, like thought dumping, as me and Gary always talk about, you're just thought dumping. People find it interesting. Now, we're not here saying we're reinventing the wheel. In the world of FPL, the majority of people don't care about this content. They really don't. Unfortunately, 90% of people that consume content on YouTube, all they care about is, as Nathan Bacon spoke about, skip all the way along. What's he doing? Oh yeah, and that's it done.
So it's
right, next FPL content.
They're not there because they love the YouTubers, are they? The ones that watch the mainstreams. They're not there because they love Andy or love it. They're just there to go on 5 minutes, copy them, and then go on to Blue Sky and tell everyone how great they are because Buemo got a hat trick.
Nick, when I interviewed in the Fran interview that will be coming out in a couple of weeks, he actually told me he did well. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he basically records a team selection video because he feels like he has to, but he knows that the watch time is nothing because people basically just zoom to see what his team is, whereas stuff like a cheat sheet video where people are actually watching with it and engaging with it. Do you know what I mean? But it's almost like, as a big FPL content creator at least, you have to have a team selection video.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Personal stuff's much better, isn't it? Like this channel and all it. It's just better.
Me and Ray have been discussing the
future. We're in the minority, probably.
Yeah. We are very, very niche. And me and Ray were discussing the future of Elite FPL. I'm not going to go into too much detail, obviously, but certainly one of the things that we did discuss is the future is just you literally just doing rant. In fact, if I'm honest, I think I've said it in a video anyway. You were my inspiration, Nick, because I love it. When I wake up in the morning, go downstairs, have my breakfast, go for a shower, and then when I come into my room where I am now, put on the PlayStation, put on YouTube, and I see a video from you, I'm like, I know you're going to be speaking absolute shite for the next 10 minutes or so, but it's going to be engaging. It's not going to be this clean-cut, scripted style, bullet-pointed. Right, we need to cover this, and this. It's just you going. Do you know what? I've been sitting around here all day thinking about a team, and I just thought I'd just press record. That's what Ray wants to do with Elite FPL next year. Just if you feel like talking, like with Patreon. If you feel like doing a podcast, if you feel like doing a video, you just hit the record button.
That's what you've been doing.
People will enjoy it.
The thing is, most of us in real life don't have anyone to talk to about FPL, do we? So when I see you come on, I think, excellent. It's like you're my friend in the living room, and I'm like, excellent, Steve-O's on. I can talk to someone I can relate to for like 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, I listen to.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
I'm a Patreon of Elite FPL, and like I'm so used. It was so weird when I actually met Steve in real life because I'm like, I've had this guy probably for hundreds of hours in my ear. You know what I mean? And even when you send me voice notes, Steve-O, which me and Steve-O send each other voice notes almost every day, it's like it's just so comforting. You know what I mean? When you have like, and I think that applies to even people. Just like you get used to watching these people and they become part of your lives, don't you? I mean, you've said that to me a lot, Steve.
Yeah. I remember meeting Mark Southerns. He was the one that approached me. I didn't even have a fucking clue that he was there. Well, tell a lie, it was kind of 50-50, but more from his point of view, because he's walking up, not from, he was going to Oxford Street, but I was kind of like on the corner, and he's approaching me from coming up from Mayfair. And it was the day that Nottingham Forest went to the playoff final 2 years ago. And I just turned to my right and I just saw an individual kind of approaching me. He looks at me, points. I look at him and point. And it was the most surreal moment because I've been listening and watching you for years. And what was really nice was the fact that it was, when I came away from the conversation, it just felt so real and natural, and it felt quite comforting because it was just, you're just exactly the same as what you're like in real life. Like when you do meet FPL content creators specifically, the majority, not all, but the majority are great. They're genuinely brilliant. I'm not going to name some. Some come across absolutely brilliant. In fact, some are like, wow, you're very conversationalist. This is brilliant. Whereas it's a very, very, very tiny number. There are a few where it's just, I don't want to be talking to anybody. I just want to talk to my little clique, basically, which I find a bit odd, but I think that's just human behavior in general. It's like when you go to FFS with Roberto, the truth of the matter is that, like I stated, there will be a lot of FPL fans there, and there will be a lot of FPL content creators there, and you will discover that 95% of the FPL content creators that you recognise are great, but there'll be the ones where you'll realise that, oh, actually, you're not as friendly as I expected, or you're not really giving me the vibe of wanting to talk to you, which is dark, but it's just the truth, considering some of these people have got a very large platform and are speaking into a microphone, and they've got a very large audience, but they don't seem to have the social skills to be able to engage with you. I mean, I always use the example of FPL Juice, which
shy or
oh yeah. There are some people which, you know, without wanting to name names again, that are very, very, very active online, but by God, they are very, very shy in person. And I personally find that very awkward. There are people at the FPL Juice tournaments, again, I'm not going to name any names, some, in fact, most come across brilliantly. I'm talking about the fans and the content creators, but there's the odd one here or there where I'm like, I don't really want to know you, because I don't like the way you're, whether it's being shy or being too overconfident, I don't like that. There's no need for it.
You can't help being shy, though, can you? It's not something to not like somebody for. Because
I'm referring to content creators in that sense, really. The shy content creators, I find that a bit odd. With fans, I get it. I kind of understand it. But when they're very active, shall we say, on live streams or X/Instagram and various other social media, I find it a bit, on these platforms, you're really, really active. But when it comes to actually in person, you kind of are like standing as far back as possible, not wanting to engage with anybody. I find that a bit weird. But certainly there are people that have made me feel, I mean, funny enough, Yelena was one of them. I was genuinely like surprised when she was like, oh my God, it's Steve-O. Like, I was just like, wow, you know, that genuinely blew my mind. You know, I always use the example of at the FPL Juice tournament when I was genuinely bricking it to meet James, Nick and Ash. I was genuinely really, really nervous, and they made me feel really, really welcome. And I always use the example when I saw James and I'm like almost having a panic attack, because I've seen this guy so often on camera or talking on the show that it was quite intimidating. But he made me feel very, very comfortable at ease, and it ended up with me bloody presenting the show for 8 hours. But the point being, though, is that most of the time it's all good-natured. I'm
going to cut in. I was actually like drifting off then, thinking, am I listening to a podcast? And I'm like, hold on a minute, you're...
Thanks very much.
Supposed to be a joke. No, it was a great conversation. I was going to read out a few points. So, Thomas is saying, will there be a... Actually, I'll read out first of all Roberta's comment. From someone who's gone to the last 3 fests, I can report that I've not met a single content creator who isn't happy to chat. Thomas said, and I'm guessing this is directed towards you, Steve-O, will there be a Game Week 38 watch along? Would be great. What I can say is I know that there is at least one person I know who will be coming on the channel in the next couple of weeks who is planning that, but I'll ask you, Steve-O, is there a Game Week 38 watch along plan?
I've stopped doing live streams. It's simple. I can't do them anymore. Unless I'm with somebody, I can't do them anymore. I find them, to be completely transparent, I find them really boring. I find them very difficult, especially, I'm specifically talking solo.
Well, I'd come on with you. Ray would probably come on with you.
Yeah. But there's another reason why I was going to add as well, sorry. Is that I'm trying my fucking hardest to make sure that I'm going to be going to, if an event is on and I'm in the area, I'll be going to it. So, for instance, FPL Meets is going to be live, and I know that FPL Juice, they're doing their special day and they want me to come along, and they're going to drive like they do with a load of people, go to the studio, drive down to Waterloo, unload, go to the Thirsty Bear, and they want me part of it. Yeah, they want me part of it. So I'm just kind of like, I'd rather be doing that than sat in my bloody room that I'm doing now, you know, doing a watch along. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way and disregarding people that watch the show, but it's just for me now, I just can't do it anymore. I just find them very, very, very difficult.
No, that's fair enough. And as I said, I'm not going to say who it is, but there is someone who may be doing one who may be coming on the channel in the next couple of weeks. To Steve-O, I've got to the last part of my script. I'm sorry for cutting you off there, guys, but I do need to go to bed relatively soon. I've got written down here
So do I.
Well, exactly. I'm not apologising to you guys. I'm apologising to the people watching.
So do I. It's only 7:30 in the morning.
Steve-O, I've got written down as my last point of discussion. Steve-O, Black Mirror rant.
Oh, good.
Take it away.
So you've never seen Black Mirror, have you, Gareth?
Well,
you've seen the odd episode,
but
2
episodes, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah. And what were the 2 episodes again that you watched?
Oh God, it was one where there were these people like they had like slave labor jobs, but then after a while they were given the chance to go on the
15 million merits.
X
That's
Factor.
that one.
And there was another one where there was like I don't know, a synthetic man that this woman bred to be a husband or something like that. I mean, I watched them years ago, but I got enough from those 2 episodes to know that I wasn't really a fan.
Right. So as Yelena said, and she made a very, very, very valid point, that Black Mirror is very, very subjective. However, I do think objectively what I'm about to say is within reason what most people are thinking. So I'm just going to quickly bore people.
So there's a new series out on Netflix, isn't there? That's what you've been watching.
The new series has been out since April the 10th, I believe it came out. And Nick, do you watch Black Mirror?
I've just watched series 5, 6, and 7.
You've only watched them 3 series?
I watched series 1, the one with all the pig and all that sort of thing that started it off. And then I stopped watching it, but now I'm looking forward to it because I've got another 3 or 4 series to watch. And my take is that I enjoy it. They're all different. Some I don't like maybe I think, if you watch them all, you're going to find some that you really like, aren't you?
Yeah.
And some that you don't like. But overall, I think it's great from what I've seen so far.
That's interesting because you've predominantly then saying there is that you've watched 5, 6, 7, which are arguably what most fans say is the worst 3 series. That's what most people generally say about 5, 6, and 7. They've got some good episodes in it. Whereas series 1 to 4 are absolutely fucking outstanding, in my opinion. You mentioned there the Prime Minister and the Pig. That's episode 1 of series 1. I'd argue, again, based on IMDb ratings, is 7.6. I think that it's an absolute masterpiece. The thing with Black Mirror is that it's Charlie Brooker's warped but accurate thought process of the way life is going, or how life can just at the switch of the button just destroy someone's life with the most basic of technology, as demonstrated in.
So I did see an interview with him on Channel 4 a couple of days ago saying basically what he predicted in the first series is now happening.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's really frightening. You've got, that's my first today. So you've got in series 1, you've got the national anthem, 15 million credits in the entire history of you. National anthem, entire history of you are absolutely outstanding, and I think are absolute must-watches. 15 million credits, I just think is a bit meh. I don't particularly enjoy it. From series 2, we've got a Be Right Back, which is after learning about a new service that lets people stay in touch with their deceased, which is the one that you watched. A lonely, grieving Martha, whatever, reconnects with her late lover again.
Rebuilds a husband.
That's it. Rebuilds a husband. Right, and is able to basically stay with them, a bit like what's happening right now with people, specifically men, that are using the world of AI to just not feel isolated and feel like they've got company. White Bear, which is an absolutely outstanding episode in which a woman is part of a Big Brother style game, but it's all in aid to show of, I don't really want to give any spoilers away, to be honest with you, but it's to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I've completely forgotten my bloody words here without wanting to spoil it, but it's kind of just for her to accept the fact of what she's done as a crime. I can't remember the exact storyline per se. The Waldo moment, absolutely brilliant. A White Christmas, absolutely brilliant. In fact, White Christmas is an absolutely stunning. Nosedive, which a lot of people talk about, is incredible regarding 5-star ratings. Again, it's got this whole idea of the 5-star ratings is everything, because of course Charlie Brooker's talking about the fact that everything's about 5-star ratings. Playtest, an amazing, absolutely outstanding masterpiece of this immersive world that we can get involved in when it comes to computer games. Shut Up and Dance, again about trolls. San Junipero, which I think is absolutely terrible. It's based in the 1980s. I didn't get anything from that whatsoever. Men Against Fire is basically about these alien life forms, from what I remember. Again, I found that really, really poor.
Steve-O.
Hated in the Nation.
Get on to the current series.
All right. Well,
I think Gary would like the one where the guy with the long hair is playing that computer game and talking to the little things on the screen.
You see, I think that's terrible. It's not. So that is episode 4.
Called?
Plaything.
Plaything. That's the one. I think Gary would like
this
that
is the
one.
thing, Nick, is that Plaything is an absolute crap version of Playtest. Playtest is.
I haven't seen Playtest.
Have you guys?
Don't watch it.
Have you guys ever done that Netflix thing where there's it's like a computer game, and you make choices for this particular person's life?
That's Black Mirror.
Is that Black Mirror? I didn't like that either.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
And that's what I believe. I believe the guy that's in that particular I keep forgetting his damn name. He's in this Plaything episode. He's the guy that's designed the computer game. I believe it's
Dungeons
him.
and Dragons computer game or something, was it?
That's it, yeah. Well, the point I was trying to get at with all the series 1 and 4 is that it was Charlie Brooker's take on what can and will potentially happen with the world, and with a cynical twist. The key word being a cynical twist, where we physically see what can go right and wrong with this new development of technology and whatnot. The last 3 series of Black Mirror, which has been accommodating for the American audience, is the classic thing of it's just dumbed down on everything.
Well, the first series on Channel 4, not Netflix.
I believe so, yeah.
Because Channel 4 would have more experimental type TV than Netflix would probably, wouldn't they?
Probably, yeah. Like I stated, I only started watching Black Mirror about, at a random guess, 4 or 5 years ago. I got into it very, very late, and I'm angry that I did, because it is just, in my opinion, again, series 1 to 4 absolute masterpieces. I've just been absolutely gutted with series 5, 6, and 7. They've got good episodes, but you just come away with it like just shrugging your shoulders, like, oh, is that it? Like in series 7.
So like the earlier, sorry, Nick. So the earlier seasons were like more predictive. They were more real. That's what you're saying. Or
they weren't predictive. You did not have a clue what the twist was going to be.
They're predictive of how future life's going to be, whereas these ones are more.
Yeah, it's kind of like a take on what A, future life is, or B, what current life kind of is.
Okay.
Really dark stuff. Whereas these particular series, if we're going to talk about series 7 specifically, I come away from Common People where I think, what was the point of me watching that? What was the point in that episode? Other than
that's real.
Robertus is the best ever episode. Is Common People.
But that's Common People. That is what's happening. That's the way things are going. Even in FPL, it's all this like you can become a 1-tier member, and then suddenly the tiers change.
Well, yeah. The thing behind.
Can I just use this opportunity to say, please do sign up for membership.
Well, this is the thing. Common People
special tier membership, and then in a couple of months you change your special tier to a higher one.
Yes, and that's the kind of take on it. But what was really frustrating with that specific episode is like the ending of it, where you're kind of thinking, are we supposed to think that he's gone and killed his wife? Spoiler alert, on the Twitch stream, and then he's gone and killed himself on the Twitch stream, or is he's killed his wife, he goes into the room, and now he's just gonna mutilate himself to live a happy lifestyle? You see, in the old series, you would get clarification on all of that. in this series, on every single episode I've watched, it's, oh, is that it? I mean, Bête Noire is absolutely shockingly
Is
poor.
is that the one from like the 1950s actress, isn't it?
No, that's Hotel. I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, Hotel Reverie.
Hotel Reverie, yeah.
I like that one, but Elena and them were saying they didn't like it, that one on the one I watched in Wellington. That was a fantastic show, by the way, Gary.
What's that? With Yelena?
I went up to Wellington and I was stuck in my hotel room on my own, and suddenly you and Yelena came onto the TV screen. And like we said, it was so comforting and just nice having you two there with me in the hotel room, sort of thing.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Really enjoyable couple of hours.
She's lovely, Yelena. She's lovely, Yelena. She, I was going to say, when you were talking about that thing, it left my head. She's said that she wants to basically, her mark as want to go for drinks at some point, and I'm like, as it's a bit busy at work at the minute, I'm like, God, I'm going to be so nervous. Do you know what I mean? Like I've never met any of them in real life. So, lads, I think we should probably wrap up there. We've been going.
We're still going on Black Mirror.
What are your opinions then, Nick?
Well, what's your favourite one then, Steve-O, from Series 7?
I haven't got one. I wish I did.
You said every series had good episodes, though.
Well, so far, of all the episodes I've seen, Common People is probably my favourite one, if I'm going to use that terminology, of the 4 that I've watched. Eulogy is a fucking joke of an episode. That is a disgrace.
A lot of people say that's the best episode ever.
Who are these people? Roberto saying Common People is the best Black Mirror episode. You need your head checking. Because if you think that Common People is the best Black Mirror episode, if you mean of Series 7, brilliant, fine. But of the whole series, I'd argue that in Series 5, why does he keep coming up with adverts for? Smithereens, an absolutely outstanding take on mobile phone usage and the way the whole fucking world has gone mental when it comes to social media. It's just an attack on Facebook.
Lads, can I recommend a series to you? Severance. I mean, I've recommended this to Steve anyway. If you I mean, we were talking before we started recording about Lost. Have you seen it, Nick?
No, because I can't get it. I'd have to subscribe to a whole.
Well, have a brother who's an IT wizard who can download things completely legally.
Is it on Hulu or something?
I don't know. He manages to download anything from anywhere, completely legally. It's not completely legally. It's brilliant, mate. It's absolutely brilliant. It's basically like, I'll give you the premise. They work in. It sounds stupid, but they work in a particular place, and basically when they go to work, they've got this brain implant that shuts off their brain when they go to work, so they become 2 different people. So in their real life, they're one person, and in the work life, they're another person. They're the same person, but they lose their memories.
They're doing other things while they're at work, basically.
Yeah, well, they lose their memories between. So basically, 2 separate, over the course of 2 series, 2 separate people evolve because they don't have the same memories as each other. So the person who wakes up...
Black Mirror episode.
Probably, but it's got that quality of Lost that, like, every episode, you were like, we were talking before we started recording, like, about, you were like, what happened there, what's going to happen next? It's the first series that I've seen since Lost, and I'm so desperate for the next series to come out now, because I'm just like, there was a big there was a big cliffhanger at the end of the first series, and then a big cliffhanger at the end of the second series. It's only on its second series, which is just like, for the first time since Lost, is like, I want to, I'm desperate to find out what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I would...
Did it get spoiled? The trouble now is you go on, you get scared to look at reviews and stuff, don't you? Because you don't know what...
Don't look at anything before you watch it. Don't look at anything.
That used to annoy me in Game of Thrones, that people that have read the books would start telling you what was going to happen. And so I love it when there's no books on things, So That was the problem with Game of Thrones, wasn't it?
I never seen that. I've never seen that. My brother did download the whole thing for me, but I never actually watched it.
In fact, that's a brilliant link into my thoughts about current Black Mirror. So I just recently watched Game of Thrones. Series 1, if you were to look at Series 1 and 2, they are completely different shows. Series 1, very violent, a lot of sex scenes. It's bordering on a porn film, to be honest with you, Gary. The storyline is
that's a recommendation to me.
Yeah, the storyline is just absolutely gripping. Series 2 comes along, and this is just me from very current eyes, is that with Series 2 I found that it was almost like people complained about the show being too sexual and very graphic, so they just dumbed down on a lot of the violence. And then it's like the writers and directors have gone, what the hell have we done with this show? And then Series 3, it's back to the norm of lots of violence and gore and sex. And that's how I feel about Black Mirror. It's almost like they've had so many complaints about how dark and twisted Series 1 to 4 is. It's like, oh, we've got to dumb down. You know, I'm just looking here, Series 4, the episode Crocodile, twist at the end is absolutely fucking nuts.
Isn't the whole point?
I'm looking forward to watching all these Series 1 to 4.
Well, isn't the whole point of it supposed to be being dark and subversive and stuff? So.
Yeah, but it's not now. That's what Steve.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if they've lost that, then what is it?
This is the thing. It's again. We can take it all the way back to FPL content. It's either you be completely real and honest, and people aren't going to watch you, or you just stick to what's popular and what's the meta, and you're going to win. It's simple. It's as simple as it gets, to be honest with you. And certainly with Black Mirror, they've been given a shed ton of money by Netflix to do what they need to do, and they've just dumbed down so much that it's just whatever. Like if you didn't watch Series 5 to 7, you've missed nothing. Whereas Series 1 to 4, in my opinion, is bordering on must-watch TV, basically.
Are you going to watch these now, Gary?
No, I wasn't. I didn't watch the first 4 series, lads. I think you probably need to wrap up because I need to go to the toilet again. And so we'll just.
This bladder's worse than mine.
You need to get checked, the pair of you.
I'll just say,
I've had about 2 litres of water.
Steve-O,
he's had about 4 beers, probably, has he? Well,
yeah, probably. We'll have this conversation. So me and Steve-O, for anyone still watching or watching back on the replay, thank you so much for the 12 people who are still here. We're planning to go on another cemetery walk, aren't we, Steve-O? And you were talking about we can record a couple of videos for Elite FPL while we're out there.
Are you going to Highgate Cemetery again?
No, this is Leighton. I'm assuming it's called Leighton Catholic.
So you could have gone and seen Karl Marx's grave if you'd gone to.
You got to pay to go in there.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Oh,
yeah. You got. I mean, I don't know how much.
You've got to pay to go to a cemetery.
Well, for pub, I assume you don't have to pay if your loved one is in there. That would make sense.
Well, again, I can't comment, but
is it like a tourist attraction now? Is it?
Well, yeah, anything in London is a tourist attraction, specifically in Central Way. It's the way London is.
My favourite tourist attraction in London Dungeon. I really love that. That was really
yes, yeah. My friend has been there along with the Tower of London tours. So it's an absolute must. I need to do it myself.
The London Dungeon,
London Dungeon's great.
I haven't been there since before COVID, but the queues, it was ridiculous. I remember I went with one of my ex-girlfriends about a year before COVID. The queues were it was like trying to get onto the Piccadilly line during rush hour. It was absolutely incredible. But it was a decent experience.
Yeah, there's no one there when I went. It's been really quiet.
Anyway, so we will be doing those videos on Sunday, will we not, Steve? And I'm looking forward to seeing you. Anything you'd like to say, lads, before we finish? Please do subscribe, by the way.
I think we've lost your subscribers today.
No,
I've been checking. I've gained 1.
It's been great. This is the lineup I've been waiting for. Every week I say to Gary, I go, "Is Steve-O coming on? Is Steve-O coming on?"
Well, lads, I will plug. I will
But
plug.
you normally say no, but I think you've had a decent game week this week, haven't you? That's probably why you're here.
That's what is it. That's what is it.
Yeah.
I will say to you, lads, you're welcome. Andrew is going to come on, I think, on Friday. He's got to ask his wife. FPL Nightmare, this is. So if you are free around 6 o'clock next Friday, I would love to have you join us as well. But you can let us know.
I'll be available. But can you ask him? Can you ask his reaction of what me and Steve-O said about him today?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to watch this all back. I said to him that I was going to ask you guys if I remembered, and we had. I don't even remember. We had about a 20-minute discussion about it. So I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will be. Okay, Gary, you're live streaming. Yes, please do. I mean, I know everyone's still watching. It's a subscriber already. But thank you so much for everyone still watching at this point. And thank you if you're listening back on record. Thanks so much to Nick and Steve for coming on. I'll see you in the next one.